on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
Hogs. From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
Are you sure this is legal? I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it?
Having Bobby come in here, he knew a lot of our big donors and things. That he has helped me with that. But it takes kind of a village of people. But I have had several conversations with different prominent folks of our state after practice. We practiced in the morning and spring and had lunch with several of them for several different times. And it has been difficult for me to ask, but at the same time, I know it's a necessity for our kids to continue to maintain a good football team.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Bushlight Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snippers of some, this is a serious
I need a little more programming.
matter.
Call or text The Morning Rush on the McCarty-Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
You heard Sam Pittman there on Paul Feinbaum yesterday. They talked Derby. They talked Taylor Green. They also talked about a little bit about the One Razorback Road Show, or where he's going to be going to different pockets of this state. They announced that officially yesterday, where Sam Pittman, Hunter Yurachek, and others will be traveling across the natural state to see you, the fans, and talking to you, not just about this upcoming season, Arkansas athletics, and any other questions you may have. So you can text us at any time, call us at any time this morning on the McCarty-Daniel hotline. What do you want to know from your athletics director, from your football coach, from this department this upcoming season? What do you like? What do you dislike? What are you mad about? You can let them know from 6 to 9 and all this week and all in the coming weeks. Tommy, it's coming up this May. It's going to be right around the corner. And I know there's people that have a lot of opinions of what's going on in the athletics department. And I would guess that Hunter's probably going to receive an email or two or have a conversation or two with fans in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I've got mixed feelings. I have no problem with the Razorback road show and the way they do it. My issue with it is we used to have Razorback clubs that were vibrant across the state, that coaches came to speak, play in their golf tournaments. And since Hunter Yurachek has been here, it's one of the few things that I just adamantly disagree with him on, is how they have dealt with Razorback clubs across the state. I think it's a real mistake in their fundraising efforts. And I know they crunch the numbers and do it, but this is what they've replaced Razorback clubs with. And essentially the Razorback club model is dying because they don't make coaches go. Coaches aren't participants. They can if they choose to, but the ones I've been involved with, their golf tournaments have went away. Their meetings have went away, and really that connection has went away. So this is the replacement, and I think it's good. But I don't think it's I don't think it meets the same standard or the same quality or value that it met when coaches would come for a luncheon or a dinner or play in a golf tournament and really spend time with people up close and personal. These roadshow deals are hour and a half. They're well done. They're a pep rally. I have no issue with those. I just wish that we could either do both, not eliminate the other while doing this.
I know recruiting is a big part of that because you're seemingly having to recruit all the time, but that is, you're not the only one that shares that opinion. I know we've got people in all different. It doesn't have to be the big ones in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and Little Rock. I mean, we're talking about some of the smaller ones across the state that have, as you said, just been eliminated basically because you keep the support and you keep the intensity level up when you have marquee people from the athletics department that come down or come east or come, again, it's mostly south and southeast or east. And when they don't make an appearance, it's really difficult to continue on these clubs when you just don't have that same vigor. What it feels like.
Or fundraising effort, and that's what these clubs were designed and started for. But I understand why. Coaches don't have the time to do them the way they did years ago, and these road shows have kind of replaced that. That's where we begin this morning. It's a Friday, big weekend, man, coming up. We got horse racing, baseball. We got NBA playoffs this weekend. So a huge amount of stuff to get to over the next 3 hours. Chuck's going to be in here in a little bit as well. All the odds for everything you can find for over the weekend are at the Bet Saracen app. I was already peeking at that this morning, and horse racing's not really their corner, but I know it's a big part of the weekend. But NBA playoffs seems like everywhere I look, people are talking about that, more involved, and I think those Arkansas players being on these teams is certainly the connection. But also I was looking this morning before the show, Arkansas and Kentucky, you can get some action on that at the Bet Saracen app. Arkansas right now minus 210 to Kentucky's plus 180 for the game tonight. So you can check that out, plus more live betting and prop bets. And like I said, NBA playoffs. Let me look there again. Hit the wrong button.
You got Cavs and Magic tonight, Tommy, then Lakers and Clippers. I think the Mavs are the favorites in one.
The Mavs are 7.5 point favorites over the Clippers. Magic 3.5 point favorites over the Cavs, and the Nuggets are laying 4.5 to the T-Wolves. The Knicks are catching 6.5 from the Pacers.
You said the Knicks?
The New York Knicks are catching 6.5 to the Indiana Pacers.
And that game's
That's
on
Monday. That game is Monday at 6:30.
Yeah, because the Knicks ended up.
The T-Wolves and the Denver Nuggets are tomorrow.
Yeah, that Knicks game last night.
I'm just looking at all the games that are on the board right now at Bet Saracen.
Well, that's cool. They are that Knicks and Pacers game up.
Yeah.
Pacer eliminated the Bucks last night. Knicks ended up pulling out an incredible Game 6 win if you watch that. But one of those stories, you talk about former Razorbacks last night, Patrick Beverly got a little emotional at the end of game number 6 last night. For those that missed it, Pivev threw a ball not once but twice into the stands in Indianapolis in Baker's Life Fieldhouse, and it was an incident that you don't want to see. I love Patrick Beverly. To be honest, but I was just like, what are you doing, man? And again, I don't know. I don't ever know what's said in those situations, but Charles Barkley was pretty straightforward on his thoughts on what happened last night.
Oh, he gone. He gonna get suspended. Yeah, and man, hit that lady in the head. That'll be next year. Hey, obviously he was trying to hit that guy. It don't matter who he was trying to hit. Yeah. You can't hit no lady ever. Yeah.
And then Patrick got asked after the game, kind of gave a non-answer.
There was, I think, late game, kind of a back and forth with the fan. Like, what? Nothing. Yeah.
Nothing. But everyone on TV saw it. You threw a ball into the stands, again, not once, but twice. And, yes, he is going to get a suspension, as Charles Barkley said.
And a fine.
And a fine, like you said. Bobby had a great game last night. Bobby Portis was fantastic. He was one of the few bright spots for the Milwaukee Bucks last night. He ends with 20 points and 15 boards. He just didn't get a lot of help from his other teammates. Damian Lillard actually played last night. But, yeah, Patrick Beverly, probably frustration, going 3 for 11, one of his worst games of the series, and the Bucks were eliminated without Giannis Antetokounmpo. So that happened. Chuck's Knicks won. I know he's going to be excited about that when he joins us in about 20 minutes from now. But those were the two games last night. Again, tonight, Daniel Gafford is in action against the Los Angeles Clippers as they're trying to eliminate them at home in Dallas. And I don't think Anthony Black's going to suddenly magically play against the Cavs, but they are trying to stay away from elimination later on against the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's your setup for tonight. Arkansas baseball in action in Lexington, Kentucky Derby. I'm MBS's Sam Pittman. He's going to be there. We just heard him talking about Bobby Petrino. We're just talking about the road shows. He also shared some thoughts about the most exciting 2 minutes in sports, which we'll get into coming up in just a bit.
All right, if fishing's on your agenda for this weekend, make sure you slide by Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, or go to lurenet.com and get the famous Yum Dinger. 3, 4, 5, and 6-inch sizes are made by Pradco right here in Arkansas. They've got a plant in Fort Smith. They make them by the truckloads. And if you're going to be out trying to catch those bass coming off the spawn, getting on the spawn, I know the moon cycle's not quite there for May yet, but this is what you need in your tackle box in your boat. You'll find it from all the tour anglers, the big guys. This is what they use to catch those big bass this time of year. It's the Yum Dinger, made by Pratco. Again, Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, and LureNet.com, and your favorite tackle stores all over the place, Ty.
All right, a lot to get into here this morning. Jump in with us via the McClarty Daniel hotline. Also, General Booty is transferring from Oklahoma. We'll talk about that and more next.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
If you're the head coach, you'd want it to have the fan base at Arkansas every Saturday in the stands.
You're listening to the Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Vegas, baby! Vegas, baby! This is the Morning Rush.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westart Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westart Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
I'm Jim Cash III, owner of the Diamond Center. I invite you to come visit us for all your jewelry needs, including celebrations, purchases, repurposing, or jewelry repairs. The Diamond Center offers the largest selection of engagement rings in the area, along with complete custom design for all those special occasions. My family's legacy in jewelry goes back 4 generations. We strive for excellent customer service, integrity in our pricing, and jewelry of the very best quality and craftsmanship. This is all backed by our exclusive free lifetime warranty. Come see us at the Diamond Center, celebrating a legacy of love.
Summer is finally here. Come check out Kofer's Boat Center's huge selection of boats with the best incentives in years. Kofer's experienced professionals will answer all your boating questions, and their award-winning customer service with Mercury, Malibu, Lowe, Caymas, and Garmin will keep your boat in peak condition. Kofer's also has a fully stocked pro shop and updated RV and boat storage facilities. Find Kofer's online at Kofers.com. That's Kophers.com. Kofer's Boat Center, your authorized Mercury dealer, helping their customers create a lifetime of memories for over 50 years.
Wes, how many people can a large pizza feed?
About 4.
So I should tell Cousin Jeff 1.
Oh, wow. He's a big eater.
The biggest. He once got kicked out of an all-you-can-eat diner because they ran out of food. How many can a small pizza feed?
I'd say 2.
Our small pizza at $15 is a meal for 2? We should advertise this. That goat'll hunt.
Dog.
What you call me?
That dog will hunt.
Wes, dogs are man's best friend. Goats are the true hunters.
Goats?
Billy Goat Jr.'s Grammy was trained to chase squirrels, cats, birds, and rabbits. We could hear her for miles through the brush. And she'd circle them right to us.
You're not serious.
As serious as a meal for 2 for $15.
You're an interesting cat.
What you call me?
A meal for 2 for $15. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything, service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials. tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSAuto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Good morning. For you guys every once in 5 days a week.
And a 3-1 pitch to Sprague Lott. There's a high drive by Sprague Lott. He got all of it. Way out of here into the Hog pen. The Hogs' second home run of the game.
You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Yeah, I know we're a long way out from basketball season, but I'm just excited. I want you to think about this. I had a conversation with my friends at dinner last night. We speculated on the idea if you'd return to Cameron Indoor Stadium for the ACC-SEC Challenge. Tommy, I'm not going to say it's a done deal, but it sure seems like we're headed in that direction. You've got San Diego. I know Penny Hardaway's talking about Memphis. You're going to travel to Knoxville. You're going to travel to the Jungle, to Auburn, and take on Bruce Pearl. I mean, you're going to travel to Rupp Arena at least. Hopefully they come back here. You are going to have a loaded basketball schedule this upcoming season.
I hope that's right. I mean, you're going to play in the marquee game because you got John Calipari.
Correct.
So, I mean, you're going to be in one of those. You know, there's some of those other early season marquee events you may be a part of. But I hope they go to Duke. Me and Big C are looking forward to that. We've kind of already put it on our calendars for us to go. So looking forward to that. So that'd be one of the marquee trips.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, you can run the board and we'll go. So, hey, Brutch, I teed you up right there, man. I mean,
I'm going. I'm not worried about it, but go ahead. You can play it like I'm not going to go.
Okay. Brought to you by the Lindbergh Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to lindberghteam.com. And by Maverick Male Medical, your wellness and aesthetic center for men in Northwest Arkansas. Look better, live better, love better. Visit maverickmalemedical.com.
So that's the prospective basketball, the possible basketball schedule, the one we're hoping for, which I think it's all but announced, but we'll have to wait and see. We do know who you're playing in baseball this weekend. That's the Kentucky Wildcats. It's going to be Hagen Smith tonight, and I'm going to call this guy Trey Poser, even though it's Poozer, because that's the other guy that you're facing on the mound. Much lesser ERA than Hagen. It's not going to be, again, one of these primetime matchups that you've seen in the SEC at other points this season, but Kentucky is, again, as salty as it gets on the eastern side, leading that division right now. 4 teams are gunning for the top dog in the SEC. Kentucky, Tennessee, and then also Texas A&M, who are all within a game or two of one another. They have pivotal weekends coming up when you look at the SEC race, and they're all intertwined. So A&M, they, again, have Ole Miss and the Hogs coming up after this weekend. This weekend, they are going to play, let me find my notes real quick. Where to go? LSU. They're on the road against LSU. You, of course, are on the road against Kentucky. And then you've got Mississippi State at home, and then you close out the season on the road against the Aggies. Tennessee this weekend is on the road against Florida, and then they got Vanderbilt on the road, and then South Carolina at home, and then Kentucky, again, hosting Arkansas, then travels to Florida against Vanderbilt at home. So teams down the stretch, I mean, it's SEC play. You're typically going to play strong competition regardless, but Arkansas has 3 ranked opponents, 2 of on the road as they close out their regular season.
I have a thought on that, because we talk about the team that gets hot. I want to bring this up with Chuck, so I don't want to dive off deep into this, but, a lot of times teams get hot down the stretch because they're having to play their way in, and they're having to play up to better competition, and they just get more focused and sharper down the stretch, right? We see it, with Ole Miss a few years ago. They kind of caught fire at the end of the regular season. We can go through all the examples. We know them. But as Arkansas, with the schedule setting up where you just went through it, the 3 ranked opponents, and you've got to play your best, is that a benefit just how the schedule ends up working out? Like you were saying yesterday, and we all know it, the Kentucky series is not one at the beginning of the year you circled as this is a marquee weekend, but it's become that. Does having this kind of urgency or importance on these final 3 weekends for your division, for your conference, for all of it, is that a benefit from the standpoint of that's how we've seen teams, get in the right mindset? I'm not saying this team's in the wrong mindset, but these 3 opponents don't give you any room to move your gloves down at all. So I find that maybe an interesting thought or something. At least it was interesting to me as I was thinking about that driving yesterday, that this team's got no room for error. And I'm speaking of Arkansas going down the stretch.
I don't think it hurts, but this is so par for the course in SEC. I mean, when is the last time you played 3 bad SEC opponents in this season, Tommy? I mean,
but
just
these
look
aren't
at
just 3 ranked opponents. These are, Mississippi State's on the rise, but these are, 2 of these 3 are in the top 5.
I don't think you've won. I got to go back and double check. I think you've lost like every final SEC series since 2018. I believe that's correct. I need to go back and double check the game notes on that. But typically Arkansas does not fare in that final series before Hoover. We've seen some years it matters, some years it doesn't matter. I just think, again, SEC, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if you look at the last 5 or 6 years when the success level has really been amped up since 2018, maybe there hasn't been the same stiffness of competition the final 3 weeks of the season. But if I had to guess, there's probably been an average of 2 ranked teams in those final 3 games, which I guess if you want to say, it's 3 instead, but to me it's not that big of a deal.
But you've got Kentucky and A&M who are both in the top 5 of the RPI. I know Kentucky dropped to 8th in the D1 poll this week, but they've been right up there, next door to you in the rankings all year long. So, I think this provides some intensity that I don't know that the team needs, but they're going to get down the stretch. Hey, happy hour Monday through Friday at TGI Fridays in Fort Smith from 3 to 6 and from 9 to close. They do it twice daily throughout the week. Half-price drinks and $5 appetizers like potato skins and their spinach dip. Love the cheese sticks. So they're really nice sticks. They're kind of like rectangles over there. And there's steakhouse meatballs and other things. They've got those for $5. And then all the drinks, 6 hours a day, 3 to 6 and 9 to close are half price. Don't forget Mondays are 50-cent wings. They've got some great lunch specials Monday through Thursday. $10 cheeseburgers on Tuesday. Pasta for $12 on Wednesday. A big heaping bowl of that. And then they got ribs on Thursday for $12, half a rack and fries. So it's all at TGI Fridays, 540 in Rogers Avenue, where it's always Friday at TGI Fridays.
Games are not on traditional television this weekend, not SEC Network, not ESPN or ESPN2. They're all on SEC Network Plus, and of course they're right here on most of these ESPN Arkansas stations, hitthatline.com, and the new Hit That Line Now app. I saw some Arkansas fans were irritated by a top 10 matchup not having even at least one television game. I know there's some other stuff that's being broadcasted this weekend, but I was a little surprised too that not even one game was.
Well, they got to start flexing the TV schedule. They set it out before the beginning of the year, and like we just mentioned, the Arkansas-Kentucky series was not projected or thought to have been one of this magnitude, and they've got to find a way to fix it because it's not about moving a satellite truck or a TV. Only thing you really probably got to send, more or less, is announcers, right? If you want to send Tom Hart and Chris Burke or whoever you're going to put, Kyle Peterson and Dave Neal, whoever you're sending, you just change their flight schedule. That's all you need to do. So I really wish they'd have a little more flexibility. Maybe they will moving forward. All right, Chuck in just a second, brought to you by APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group. They've got job openings right now all over the place, including Northwest Arkansas, and then Baxter, Marion, Boone County, that area. If you're in Harrison or Mountain Home this morning, there's a job nearby. That's what I like about their site. You go to jobs.crh.com. There's an interactive map there. You can kind of zero in where you're looking to move or where you currently live, and you're just looking for a new opportunity. Whatever your situation is, they can help find the job that fits your skill set and fits your needs as well. That's jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group, they are equal opportunity employers.
A lot to get to with Chuck Barrett coming up on the Morning Rush.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
This is former Razorback and Super Bowl champion Brett Good, and you're listening to the Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Tommy Kraft here for the Fitzman. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fitzman can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fitzman can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and control access for your business. Call the Fitzman and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fitzman. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
Kevin drives the tee and throws it down with one.
The first thing people notice when they drive up to your home or walk in any room of your house is the color. And if you're looking for the perfect color and the perfect paint, you'll find it at the Paint Store in Van Buren. Hi, Tommy Kraft here. The Paint Store in Van Buren gives you hometown service from people who know what they're talking about. You don't have to chase them down to get help at the Paint Store. They're always there to help you get that perfect color and that perfect match for your project. If you're looking for the perfect paint color, it's at the Paint Store, 1414 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news about our first ever trade-in acquisition event. We need your trade, so now through Memorial Day, get your state sales tax paid when you trade for any one of our road-ready certified vehicles. That's right, state sales tax paid when you trade. Another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
It's 2024. Let's go see what's new at the Golf Nut. Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke Woods and Irons. The world's first AI smart face designed using real player data. Cobra Dark Speed Woods and Irons. The fastest driver Cobra has ever built. Start the new year off with a lesson and feel more confident on the course. Contact Matt Brooks at 646-4430. The Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
It's spring cleaning sale time at Jelco Outdoors. Savings from 50 to 75% off on select clothing, footwear, hunting and fishing equipment, casual clothing, hunting clothing, work clothing for men, women, and children, work boots, safety shoes, western boots, all 50 to 75% off. Rods, reels, baits, hunting equipment, all 50 to 75% off. Select group of handguns, rifles, and shotguns in the firearms department at cost or below. Don't miss the big spring cleaning sale at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith.
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
We still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown bar district.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pick up. Home. Drop off downtown bar district.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Well, Ty, I was just waiting to talk to you. Looking forward to being on with you today. How are you?
What a way to start your day. It's like Folgers in your cup. The best part of us waking up is Ty Richardson. I can't make that
It's
rhyme.
still the coffee part for
It's
me. I mean, no disrespect to you guys. I enjoy visiting with you after I've had my coffee, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Need to get some Folgers, Tommy, in the studios now. Since you brought that up yesterday, that's that phrase and really that brand is all I've been thinking about coffee-wise since yesterday.
Yeah, you need to YouTube that old jingle. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. So I mean,
The one that has always stood with me is
Love
J.G. Wentworth. It's my money and I need it now. I have heard that since I was a kid. And I will probably remember that for the rest of my life. I watched that so many times, and they put in like cartoons back in the day and commercials. But that's the one that has stood with me all these years.
yeah, because I'm sure kids had a lot of annuities and things they needed to collect earlier.
Oh, they knew the parents were watching too.
So, hey, Kentucky Derby, Chuck, you gonna get ready for wear your seersucker suit and get Derby ready this weekend?
I've got it out. I've got it ready.
Let's
go.
Set to go.
That's what you got to do. Get your mint julep. Hey, a lot of people headed to Oaklawn this weekend. Live racing ends on Sunday, but you can enjoy the Kentucky Oaks today. Kentucky Derby, of course, tomorrow, and then they'll have their final day of racing on Sunday. If you have not downloaded the Oaklawn Anywhere app before, now is the time to get that. With the Oaklawn Anywhere app, you can watch and wager in horse racing, not just at Oaklawn, and while you're there, but races around the country. So, the other races that are on the card at Churchill, other tracks around the country. Lang Whitman will be with us later in the show, and he'll give us his thoughts on the Derby for this weekend as well. And then I want to ask him about this, the final race. I've never been on the final day of racing at Oaklawn, but they do the Trails End race where they pass the clubhouse twice. And I want to ask him about that, so that'll be all on Sunday. Go to oaklawnanywhere.com, download that app in the Apple App Store, wherever you get your apps, and get ready for racing this weekend. Use the promo code RUSH24 for your $150 sign-up bonus.
Chuck, I made it through all the Bucks and Pacers game. I did not make it through the Knicks and the 76ers last night. I did wake up to find that New York Knicks got it done for you. Scott Foster, the extender, didn't extend the series last night.
No, it didn't happen. I made it to halftime, I'll admit. And I thought the Knicks were going to blow them out in the first quarter. Sixers came back in the second quarter. I did go back and watch kind of the condensed version, I guess you could call it, of the second half. And, man, Josh Hart had a big shot right at the end.
Yeah, he did.
Got two. He'll toss it in. Floats it. He throws it out. It's out. It's over. This war of attrition is won by the Knicks.
That was just a good that series. Last game was great, and then last night was just another good game too.
I read something just a little while ago that, and it was true, that with every game in that series, you just wanted to fast forward to the final minute because you knew it was going to come down to that. I mean, you knew everything you were watching was going to lead up to something happening in the final minute. So you just wanted to fast forward and get there. And they started at 8 o'clock, so I had no chance of making it to the final minute of the game.
That's what my dad always said about the NBA, just in general. All you need to watch is the last 5 minutes. You know?
Sometimes that's true.
So they just kind of mess around. In the last 5 minutes, they decide to play, and who's going to win.
Well, now let me say this, though. If you watch it, sometimes it may seem that way in the regular season. If you watch the playoffs, it's not that way. It is 48 minutes of getting after it. And that was an intense series. Indiana put out Milwaukee last night, and Indiana and New York will play now. I feel bad for Portis. He really gave everything he had in that series. But without Giannis I know Lillard came back for last night's game, but he's not the normal Damian Lillard. So feel bad for them, but Indiana's moving on too.
I mean, Bobby had 20 and 15 last night. Yeah, he was really good, and he worked the Pacers the game before. Did you catch Beverly's incident at the end of that game?
Kind of a bad look for Patrick at the end of the game. I'm not sure what happened there. That's a bad look. Here's the thing about Portis. On a good team, on a championship team, Bobby can't be a 20 and 15 guy. Bobby's got to be the sixth man of the year on a championship team. And what happened was they got into the playoffs, and now they screwed this thing up in the regular season. If you follow it, they screwed it up when they fired that coach and they brought in Doc Rivers. Yeah. And but if you've kind of watched it down the stretch, Bobby's been asked to do too much. And there's not been anybody else that's really done much, just to be honest. Chris Middleton's not been as good a player in the playoffs was not in the playoffs as he was in the regular season. He was asked to do too much. But bottom line, without Giannis and Lillard, they were dead meat.
So you've got some series that are set up for the semifinals. Timberwolves and the Nuggets will play at 6 o'clock on Saturday on TNT. Tommy mentioned earlier in the Eastern Conference semifinals, Pacers and Knicks, a lot of history there. Think about Spike Lee. Think about Reggie Miller. I mean, you got to go back to the 90s. That was one of the better rivalries that you had in the NBA back in the 90s, Chuck, outside of some of the Bulls matchups.
The Pacers are, and I don't want to get too far off into it, but that's an interesting sports franchise. I mean, they were one of the best ABA franchises back in the day. And when the ABA and the NBA merged, not many ABA teams made it, but Indiana did. And they've been a thriving franchise. During COVID, when we played up in Indianapolis, the Pacers played the Pistons one night, and me and Z went. Z knew a scout or something, and, it was that spaced seating and all that. But we went, watched the game, and walking around the arena, I mean, the history of that franchise, the sport of basketball in Indiana, there aren't many places like it. But I don't know. They've got a great franchise. I'll put it that way.
I mean, think about, you've got all within pretty close to one another. You've got Bankers Life Fieldhouse, where we were at, Hinkle Fieldhouse, where Hoosiers was filmed, and where Butler plays. You've got Indiana and Bloomington, and then you've got Purdue and West Lafayette, and they're all right next to each other.
I got to admit, when we were up there, I thought they ought to do it here every year.
I thought the same thing.
This should be like Omaha for baseball, but they're not going to.
No.
I mean, they're not going to, and I fully understand that. But that was the one part of all that COVID thing that I did kind of like. I enjoyed being in Indianapolis. Now, we were stuck there for 2 weeks. I mean, we didn't come back. I mean, we had some days where there was absolutely nothing to do. But it was kind of like being in Omaha for 2 weeks.
Tommy, I don't know why I think you would like this aspect of that city before we move on, but I have never been in a bigger town with better infrastructure in my life than Indianapolis, Indiana. And the reason I say that is because, and I know it wasn't at full capacity because of COVID, but there was no traffic. And even with all these teams in town that weekend, I never hit traffic one time.
Well, that was COVID.
Yeah.
That was COVID. Everybody was working at home back then. And I'm sure that Indianapolis has all the issues that major cities have.
Yeah, it was a cool.
No one's immune. But I'm with you. I had a great time up there. Under the circumstances, it was as good as it could be.
Got to go back to St. Elmo's, Chuck, get some cocktail sauce.
It was good.
It just read my mind. All I want is some of that cocktail sauce again.
It was very good. There was a lot of, there was a lot to enjoy there. If we ever get sent to Indianapolis again, I'll enjoy that trip.
There's I think it's either first round side or Sweet 16 this next NCAA tournament. So. Knock on wood.
Right.
Could end up there.
Well, I bet you won't dive headfirst into that cocktail sauce again like you did last time. I tried to warn you, and you didn't listen.
A little bit smaller bite.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw Chuck texted me that night because we saw him, and he was kind enough to let me talk with Z and the rest of his crew. But I ate that.
Yeah, come on, Ty. I'll let you talk to him for a little while.
Keep it under 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I still remember that night because I ate an entire shrimp that was covered from head to toe in cocktail sauce, and it came out through my nose. It was so hot. So never again. I learned my lesson.
It was serious.
It's an attention getter.
Never again. Well, speaking of good food, like we had in Indianapolis, I would guess that Sam Pittman, Hunter Yurachek, and the rest of the athletics department is going to have some good food on the One Razorback Roadshow that begins on May the 13th. They're stopping in Heber Springs, Jonesboro, Forest City, Little Rock, Pine Bluff, El Dorado, Texarkana, and Fort Smith are the 8 cities for lunch and dinner they're shopping out. One of the things I was thinking about when I got this email yesterday, and I was talking with some Razorback fans about it, is like, what do you want to talk with Hunter, Sam, and the rest of the athletics program about? Like, what are you interested in and learning about, complaining about, and talking about?
You know, I think a lot of this, Ty, more than anything, is about acknowledging people, acknowledging the fans. We ask, and by we, I mean everybody associated with the Razorbacks, Hunter, Coach Pittman, everybody, all the coaches, they ask people to drive pretty good distance, multiple times a year to come watch them play. They ask for money. They ask them to give their time, their talent, their treasure. There's nothing wrong with going to them every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Athletic departments have gotten away from this, and I think it's a mistake. But I think things like this are good. I think you should go out there. I think you should get in the middle of people. So more than anything, Ty, I don't think it's about, hey, I want to talk to somebody about this. I want to get an answer to this. I think it's about acknowledgement.
And thanks and that.
Well, I just think it's about letting people know that, you know, you're important to us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, you know, what people want more than anything is to feel appreciated.
Yeah.
You know, that's what people want more than anything. And I think this is part of that.
Yeah. I was mentioning earlier, Chuck, and you've been to a gazillion Razorback Club meetings, but one of the things, I understand coaches' schedules have changed, and portal and NIL and all that's changed the time demand on our head coaches compared to 5 years ago. But since Hunter Yurachek's arrived, they've more or less scaled out and gotten rid of Razorback clubs around the state. And a lot of them have just folded up because they can't get coaches to come, and their events just don't flourish if you can't get a head coach there to have people come in and have catfish and, like I said, talk about the Hogs and hear what coach has to say. And I just think I think it's a real mistake, and those were good fundraising, opportunities for the foundation as well. So this is kind of the replacement of that. I know the one thing people are wanting to know that are in these towns that you just went over, whether it's Texarkana or El Dorado or Fort Smith, is, hey, is Cal coming to my event? I mean, that's what everybody wants to know, is which ones of these will Calipari be at?
Well, now there's a difference between acknowledgement and entitlement. There's a difference between that. I don't want to get too far into the weeds here, but just because you're a loyal club and things like, you're not entitled to having somebody come. But I do think there's a balance that can strike there. I don't. Most of the people, and I'm just going to be blunt right here, most of the people that I hear talking about not coming to the Razorback clubs are the people involved with the Razorback clubs. And they want to sustain their clubs, and they want to raise money, and they want to have a viable club, and having those people there helps them. I know that may rub some people the wrong way. I think that what they do right now with the One Razorback Roadshow, and I didn't know we were going to get off into this, but I do think what they do with the One Razorback Roadshow is what a lot of schools do now. I do think it's effective. I do think when they roll into your town, it's a big deal. Probably a bigger deal in that town than when a coach comes to a Razorback Club meeting and most of the people in that town can't go. So I think there's a flip side to this. You may not have somebody there for a Razorback Club meeting, but when you roll into town on a bus, everybody in town can come. Nobody's got to buy a ticket. Nobody's got to be told that, you got to sit back here in the back because we got a bunch of tables reserved for the more important people up front. Nobody has to go through that. It's open to everybody. I hear what you're saying, but there's a flip side to that too. There's two sides to every coin.
Well, you look at the locations, like if you look in, I said Jonesboro, Heber Springs, Forest City, Little Rock, Pine Bluff, El Dorado, Texarkana, and Fort Smith. It's all over the state. And again, there's no NWA event because they don't need one, right? I mean, you see Sam Pittman at the grocery store or Jamie at the grocery store. And, there's I don't think here in Northwest Arkansas we truly appreciate how easy the access is sometimes relative to other pockets of the state, that it's a once or twice a year rarity for them to get a chance to talk to a coach.
I can tell you, though, that's true around Fayetteville. It's true probably in Washington County. The Bella Vista Razorback Club, for years and years and years, I don't know that it was actually the Bella Vista Razorback Club by the end. It might have been Northwest Arkansas. I forget. But
I think it was George Billingsley Razorback Club.
Yeah. That's exactly right. That's exactly what it was. And they had a great club. It was a good club. I went to several events there. But now I will go back to something that we've talked about before. And, when football season ended, I can tell you when I did this. This was when Coach Petrino was here. When football season ended, and the calendar flipped, you got through Christmas, you would begin to go on Razorback Club trips. And then it would stop right before recruiting, right before signing day. And then after signing day, man, you just went crazy. I mean, we do 3 a week. And ended up doing about 30. You can't do that now.
No. Schedule
you can't do that now. And, Tommy, you and I both know that you could have a Razorback Club meeting. And if you don't have a head coach there, you're not going to have a real big crowd.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just the truth. And if that head football coach who used to make all those trips right after the first Wednesday in February, well, now he can't do that. And here's the thing. If that coach is in Heber Springs, and I say this respectfully, or any Razorback club, if he's out there on a Wednesday night and everybody in the building feels great, man, I love that coach. That's so nice of him to come to our hometown. But on that same night, a player you really need signs with somebody else out of the transfer portal, that's going to get you fired. And that's just the reality of the situation. So there are two sides to really, there are more than two sides to this if you want to get down to it. And we really morphed off into the fact that it's really good that they're doing the road show. I mean, we got away from that, and we should. It's really good they're doing the road show.
Yeah. I just look at the places they're going, like Heber Springs, the Red Apple Inn. That's a great spot. You look in Pine Bluff. Now, here's one. Leon's Catfish and Steakhouse. I've never been there, but I bet it's pretty darn good. Off the Rail Cafe in El Dorado. They're going to be at Pop's Place in Texarkana and Uncorked in Fort Smith. Yeah, I mean, whoever's going to be on that bus is going to have some good venues to eat at. I can promise you Uncorked is going to be a great venue.
You mentioned Calipari. Calipari's not listed in this release. I wonder if there will be a surprise visit. I know he's in the middle of what he's trying to compile on his roster, and May the 13th in the stretch is still probably going to be in the heat of recruiting battles. I also wonder, like Sam Pittman, for example, he goes on Paul Feinbaum yesterday and says this.
Having Bobby come in here, he knew a lot of our big donors and things. That he has helped me with that.
I wonder if they bring Bobby to one of these. And I know he's not the head coach, and I know that. But again, the end goal is to raise money for the football program, NIL, whatever. If you want to help do that, two of the biggest mainstays in the state, if not the two biggest, are John Calipari and Bobby Petrino. And I know they're not wanting to try and, outdo the limelight of your head football coach and Sam Pittman, but I think it would be a mistake to not bring Petrino to at least one of these events. I think he needs to be at least one of these. If Sam Pittman could go to one of these, or however many of these, I think they need to bring Petrino to at least one of these too.
I don't know how they're going to work it. I mean, I have no idea. I don't know that. I mean, it just kind of shows you, I guess, where we are in the seasons, because, I mean, we're breaking this down like a ball game. And the Razorbacks are coming to town. And when that bus rolls in any of these places and in those restaurants, no matter who pops out, everybody's going to have a good time. And what they, what we think they need to do, or what would be nice if they did, I mean, all that stuff's going to fade away when that bus rolls into town and they go into those establishments, and it's going to be a great time, and it's going to be a celebration of the Razorback.
I think Chuck Barrett should be on the bus and just sleep on the bus for 3 or 4 days. You know,
I don't think that part. I would
golf
disagree
schedule.
with the sleeping on there for 3 or 4 days.
If he's going to do something, he's going to fly.
Be like that bus you and Quinn and Z used to take to the football game. We'll roll that baby back out.
Was,
Justin Moore's bus.
Well, I mean, we had to do that. It was COVID.
No, you get to do this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
you had to do that. You get to do this.
Z and Quinn were in the back playing Madden like every trip, Chuck. Is that right?
I don't think Z was playing. Z was, but I mean, it was, hey, we had a great time. It was one of those things, I said this when it was over. I never want to do it again, but I'm glad I did it once.
Yeah.
And that would certainly be where that category, or where that would fit in, as far as the category goes. Hey, let me pause just for a second and talk to you about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. My friends, my partners, the ones that helped me buy and sell a home the first time, and they've been my partners throughout my adult life. When you get into something like this, and it's the most money you ever spend, and you want someone who appreciates that. Someone who makes it important to them, someone who listens to you and understands what your desires are, what you want to get in, what you want to get, how you want to get out. I mean, all the things that go into a real estate transaction. You want someone that's well-trained. You want someone that recognizes obstacles. You want someone that can make sense out of what's happening in the real estate market, because sometimes it doesn't seem to make sense. That's what I found with Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, and I think that'll be your experience too. Now, they've got offices in Northwest Arkansas. They're in Washington and Benton counties. They're in Fort Smith. They're in Branson. And you can always log on to WeicherGriffin.com.
So you've got some really good SEC baseball as we close down these final 3 weeks. Arkansas's got 3 ranked opponents as they're trying to win the final SEC Western Division crown in the conference and the overall crown. You think about Kentucky, Arkansas, A&M, and Tennessee all within the top 8, Guys, it's conceivable, depending on how it shakes out, that 4 of the top 8 are national seeds, and it could be those 4. So even if Arkansas doesn't win the next 3 series, I mean, I'm not going to say they're a lock for a national seed. They're just in a really good situation right now, as are the other teams.
Well, I think they're all in good spots. I don't know about losing 3 series and still being one, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
All of them have the potential to be national seeds. All of them could win the national championship. There's probably another 1 or 2 teams in the SEC that if they get hot at the right time, they can make a run to Omaha. So I think you'll have 3 or 4. The law of averages says 3, but I think you'll have at least 3 that are national seeds.
And while those 4 teams are vying for national seeds, you've got teams like Florida and LSU that look like they're on their way out, and they've got big weekends as both the Gators, they host Tennessee, and the LSU Tigers host the number 1 team in the country in A&M. O'Sullivan's squad was just in here last week, and I think it's the number 1 rated schedule in the country. And then LSU, we know, has had a down year for their standards, but a big series win against A&M could turn both of them around for teams that I would say are on the outside looking in right now.
It's close. I do think if the season ended today, Ty, I think both of them would be in. I think barely. I think they'd both be 3 seeds. One of them might even be a 4.
Wow.
But I think they'd both get in. Florida's deal is Florida's been really competitive on the weekends. They've just lost midweek. LSU's struggled in that area some too.
Tommy, imagine getting a SEC team as the 4 seed in your regional. That's horrible.
I think Ole Miss did that once, didn't they?
Yeah. Did they win a national title?
I think so. As a 4 seed. Yeah, Fresno State did one year too.
Hey, with over a century of proven performance, Farm Credit of Western Arkansas has been your reliable partner, providing the financial assistance your farm or your ranch need to stay up and running. Go to myaglender.com. That's myaglender.com and visit one of their 25 locations near you for the financial lending support you need from sunrise to sunset.
All right, hour number 2 coming up in just a bit. We're going to talk some ponies in hour number 2. Kentucky Derby tomorrow night. Also, some football news. Kirby Smart is getting paid. All that's coming up on the Morning Rush.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric.
Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacale, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all summer sports, from Major League Baseball, golf, to the NBA and NHL playoff stats. They've got all the latest stats, news, and scores available to follow your favorite teams. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got trophies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite, white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all summer sports, from Major League Baseball, golf, to the NBA and NHL playoff stats. They've got all the latest stats, news, and scores available to follow your favorite teams. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs.
But at the same time, I know it's a necessity for our kids to continue to maintain a good football team.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to the Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studio. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Kristen Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McCarty-Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bensenville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Now, Tommy and Chuck, you know I've never asked anything of you, but I do need some sound financial advice here in this segment. Should I spend $150 on the new Sunday Red golf polo, the absurd amount that Tiger Woods is charging, or invest that in a horse tomorrow night just before 6 o'clock? Need some sound financial advice here. What is the proper way to spend that $150 on those two options?
Well, based on the two things you've said, if you think a red shirt is going to make you play like Tiger on Sunday, and if you think you're going to get rich betting the Kentucky Derby tomorrow, just wad that $150 up and or throw it my way.
Okay.
And
take out that nice hitter instead.
On the Asmussens, though. I'm going with a long shot tomorrow. I'm going with Just Steele. You guys ask Lang about this when he's on later today. Just Steele, 29-1. Keith Asmussen on the ride. D. Wayne Lucas's horse.
Okay.
That's who I'm going with.
All right.
Well, D. Wayne Lucas has been
I got
around
the same combination
forever.
in the Oaks later today. I got the same combination in the Oaks.
All right, Tommy, you're up next. $150 on the Tiger polo or
You'll
the
get
horse?
more. You'll get more out of the Tiger polo.
Okay.
But yeah, I think you can't miss the Derby. I mean,
okay.
I'm looking forward to hearing what Lang's got to say a little bit later on. I've got the Oaklawn Anywhere app up, looking at. I was looking here. Churchill's first post time tomorrow. Chuck's at 9:30. I mean, you could be up thousands by then.
Oh.
You know,
Well, they've been racing all week.
Yeah.
Not that I would know, but they've been racing there all week.
Not that you would know.
Oh, man. Well, evidently, heard this on Paul Feinbaum yesterday. Sam Pittman's going down there this year. He's been there before.
This year, one of my buddies, two of Dan and Scott Hamby, they've got a horse running, Mystic Dan. They named it after their father. He's running in the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. So Friday night, we're going to go up to Malone's and meet Nikki up there, and we're going to have us a hell of a time and go to the Kentucky Derby. And so I'm so excited about that. But I do miss the parties because all our friends would come in on Thursday night and stay Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and a lot of fun. You know me, Paul. I like to drink a little cold beer every now and then, and it's just another excuse to drink.
I think Mystic Dan's 20-1 right now. I was looking at that. That might be the one I go with. Arkansas.
Did Mystic Dan finished second at the Arkansas Derby? I think that's what happened. Ask Lang about that, too.
Okay. Tommy, you got two questions.
I'm going to have a list for you to talk to Lang about today.
Yeah.
This is a big weekend in the horse racing community. Brian Hernandez is going to ride Mystic Dan.
Okay. That's the one I'm rolling with.
Brian Hernandez Jr. He's a big time jockey.
That might be the $150 investment. Tommy, it sounds like Chuck's found his. Sounds like I found mine. Have you found your horse yet?
No, I was looking at the odds as Chuck Honor Marie. That's the one that our man Scott Tabor needs to go with. His wife's name is Marie. So just looking at my wife was really good at going to the paddock and picking out the pretty horse, and then she always just wears me out at when she's right and I'm always wrong, and and we've looked over all the the past performances and all that stuff. So now Resilience is at 26. I always look for value because it's never the favorite that wins these. Chuck, you know that. I mean, you throw out the favorite because you got to put them in your ticket somewhere if you're doing a trifecta or a superfecta, and but the favorites never seem to be the one that come through.
Here's the thing about the Kentucky Derby. It'll be 21 horses. You got a scratch tomorrow. You got 21 horses on a track, and I think Wally wrote about that this week, and he's exactly right. You got 21, 22, 23 horses some years on a track designed for about 12. And, they are it's a free-for-all. I mean, it really is. And that's why long shots win, and that's why it's so hard to pick.
When you don't want to be in that outside post. I remember when Big Brown won from the 20 hole. Never been done, I don't believe, and was the favorite outside, or one amongst the favorites from the outside post. It's just hard to do, and then you get caught up in the traffic. So
it's cool from those drone cameras to watch them when they all come out of the gate.
Yeah.
And how they just move to the rail. I mean, just in mass, they just move to the rail.
The whole ambiance, the whole aura of this event. I mean, starting with the trumpet. And then they get ready.
They're on in line. We're ready for the start. Kentucky Derby. Two stills. It's turned for home on top. He starts. His waves coming struggling down the outside. Angel of Empire is putting in his run. And it's one furlong to run. Two stills coming inside. Trying to hold on Mage. Mage is taking the lead here. They come into the final 16. And it is going to be Mage to win the Kentucky Derby.
Guys, I won't watch another horse race the rest of the year. But I will watch tomorrow night starting about 5:45.
You won't be alone. You'll be in the majority.
Yeah, and I'll watch a few more golf tournaments a year, but this is the one event that I will make sure that I am watching each and every year. And even if I don't have money on a particular horse, might throw that $150 on Mystic Dan. But yeah, the whole setup, the whole lead up, and the build up in that 2 minutes goes in a blink of an eye.
Fierceness at 5-2 in that 17 hole, an outward post is. I bet they wish they'd drawn closer to the middle of the field. Here's your horse, Ty, Forever Young, out of the 11 hole, 7-1 morning odds. So there you go.
Forever Young. It's either Forever Young or Mystic Dan is the one I'm going to roll with.
I like that Just Steel pick. 29-1. There's some value there, Chuck.
Oh, there's a lot of value there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably not going to happen, but yeah, there's a lot of value there.
One of the other,
put two across the board.
Well,
I mean, go big
or a few more. Go big.
Is that help me on that? Is that 200? When you say two across the board,
the standard bet, like if you want to place the minimum bet, it's a $2 bet across the board. You bet them to win, place, and show.
Okay.
As long as they finish in the top three, you're going to get something. Doesn't mean it's going to be enough to cover your bet if they show, but you'll get something.
When I go to Oakland,
again, not that I would know. Just this is what I've been told.
When I go to Oakland,
about it.
I just ask the smarter guy that's got the book. I last time I went.
Not always the smarter guy.
Well, he won. He won me some money.
Just
my buddy
smart
Jerry.
enough to be broke.
Yeah.
That's generally how it works in that game.
Listen,
just smart enough to be broke.
When I was at Oaklawn, I won $23. I didn't bet again. I went to Vegas, won $31. Didn't bet again.
Wow.
If I win any money, I'm good. And hopefully tomorrow.
You play at a different level than most people do.
Yeah.
So
$31.
Really anybody else in the world.
Yeah.
So,
That's
well, it's going to be fun, and we'll talk to Lane coming up at the tail end of the show about the Kentucky Derby. That's tomorrow night. 5:57, I believe, is the post time, if I'm reading this right. For the race at Churchill Downs and the Run for the Roses tomorrow. Hey, we're brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. All the top brands like Grand Design, Forest River, and the odds-on favorite, the Brinkley Model Z, is there. It's the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
So mint juleps are going to be consumed this weekend and won't be consumed for another year. What is like the odd drink that you have just every once in a while? We'll talk about that next on the Morning Rush.
The Cal era is...
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite, white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all summer sports, from Major League Baseball, golf, to the NBA and NHL playoff stats. They've got all the latest stats, news, and scores available to follow your favorite teams. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got trophies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all summer sports, from Major League Baseball, golf, to the NBA.
It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess. I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
Y'all want to stay in Churchill Downs just for a sec before we have Scott Tabor and we talk with him a little baseball. Mint juleps are an item and a drink that I don't think anyone consumes, with the exception of this weekend, on a yearly basis. I really didn't know what it was until a couple years ago, until kind of I got aware of horse racing. But Tommy, I know that you've had one before. I have never had one of these things.
I didn't, and it wasn't my favorite.
It wasn't good?
I've had one. I mean, it wasn't my favorite. If I'm going to drink bourbon, let's just drink bourbon.
So here's our Morning Rush Daily Question. What is the drink that you maybe drink once, twice, 3 times a year? It's kind of off the wall a little bit. Mine is a Colorado Bulldog. When I go skiing, it's almost like a chocolate milkshake. It's got Kahlua and some other stuff in it. I think it's great. And I knew I was probably going to get that response.
No. I don't hear a lot of guys bragging about drinking that, but you go right ahead.
Listen.
I want you to be secure in that.
I am secure. I'm secure in my mind.
Yeah, I can tell.
I knew, I was sitting here during the break. I was like, this is probably going to get some slight pushback. But you know what? I'm a truthful guy, and I'm truthful about my Colorado Bulldog drinking when I go skiing.
Good for you.
So that is what I drink, not on a regular basis, but just on an odd basis. Chuck, you had, I think, the menu of the cost. It's not exactly Masters cheap in Churchill Downs for this week.
No.
I mean,
$22 will get you a mint julep. Now, hey, this is big for you. White Claw, $14.
Wow.
You get a White Claw for $14.
It's almost White Claw season, boys. We're just around the corner from the lake. I cannot wait. But yeah, $14 though. I get a 12-pack for
the
$14.
lake with a case of White Claw. Man, that sounds like a fun time.
You're sitting in the
Can I
water.
come?
Yeah,
Can I come
of
with
course
you
you can come.
Yeah.
You're welcome at Washita or Beaver, wherever we end
He'll
up
even
this
let you
year.
talk to his friends, just like you let him talk to Z.
I will
Just
say,
bring the White Claw.
I'm already pretty popular with multiple friend groups. times. But if I somehow swindled your keister down to one of these lake trips, I think I would reach the moon. So if you ever want to go,
I'll bring the White Claw.
You would be liked even more.
For Ty and all the ladies.
Hey, listen, we drink
For the
out
men, we'll have beer.
I drink both, but I mean, we're on the lake, so I'm going to drink White Claw. Tommy, what about you? What's the kind of odd in drink that you don't necessarily get on a customary basis, but every once in a while you see and you're like, I'm going to get one of these?
Yeah, vodka's usually my go-to in bourbon. On occasion, because my wife, so I'm going to help you out, Ty. I'm going to shield some of this shame that you're feeling this morning. About once or twice a year, we'll get a chocolate martini as a dessert drink.
Those are good too.
I like those. I mean, but it's not something you're going to sip on all the time. I just call it leaded chocolate milk. But that's usually a great way to end if you had a nicer meal that night or something, you went out somewhere nice. Instead of the piece of cheesecake, we'll just have a chocolate martini.
Those are good. I drink espressos just to wake up. That or vodka Red Bulls to get me going a little bit.
This isn't exactly an espresso, but anyway.
It's a good dessert drink.
Yeah.
College party tips from Ty.
Yeah.
Well, they don't.
Vodka and Red Bull.
I feel I will say as I continue to age at a rapid pace, I feel heartburn now after I drink a vodka Red Bull every once in a while. So I probably shouldn't be sucking those down.
Right out of bed.
Yeah.
Right out of bed.
Like I used to.
But he doesn't have a problem.
No, of course not. Sober during the week. I think it's okay on the weekends. Chuck, what about you? You read off that beer. Is there a drink item that you just all of a sudden pull out of your you-know-what every once in a while?
Not so much anymore. I mean, I'll drink a beer every now and then. Less than you think. Less than I probably did when I was younger. A little shot of bourbon every now and then is okay.
Yeah. The older you get, I think you...
About one, though, and it's bedtime for me. Yeah. I mean...
That's why they call it a nightcap.
That's my limit.
I'm getting there. All right, that is your Morning Rush Daily Question brought to you by our friends at Red River Dodge in Heber Springs. Tommy.
Red River Dodge in Heber Springs. They are Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Let's talk to former Razorback pitcher Scott Tabor on the Morning Rush. Our conversation with Scott is brought to you by Alumni Hall, your ultimate Razorback shopping experience. Located next to Whole Foods in Fayetteville or shop alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Razorback fans shop.
Go crazy at Bob Walker! Go nuts!
Scott, do you have a big party to get to this weekend, tomorrow night for the Kentucky Derby?
Matter of fact, we're having a Colorado Bulldog party.
There we go.
It's going to be amazing.
Some
We
help.
got people from all over the state coming in.
Well, if you got White Claws, I'm showing up, man. If you got White Claws,
Well,
I'm
that's the
coming
backup.
over.
That's the backup.
That and some White Russians. So there's plenty of.
There you go.
those-
Now I'm a big Black Russian fan. I learned to drink those in Alaska, and that's a pretty good drink. It's a good sipping drink.
You're gonna have to tell me what that is. What is a Black Russian?
It's vodka and Kahlua.
Okay.
So
sounds good.
You're just mixing two alcohols and you just sip it. In fact, I started drinking it with the guy who beat us in the World Series in '79. The guy who pitched the final game. I got to be good friends up there.
It's what is it? Cal State Fullerton, right?
Cal State Fullerton.
Okay,
right.
That's what I thought.
A guy named Dave Weatherman.
Okay.
Yeah, Dave Weatherman.
Scott, you got 3 ranked opponents the rest of the way. You've seen a good chunk of baseball already. Is this team going to do it? Are they going to win not just the West? Are they going to win the whole regular season SEC title?
Yeah, it's not a whether we can do it or whether we, it's can we do it. I mean, not whether we will do it. It's kind of can we do it? We can do it. It's we have as good a chance or better chance than I think we've ever had going in. Everybody's waiting for the bats to get hot. Our bats are not just going to magically get hot. I think there's some certain things that have to happen, and the pitching obviously looks like it's going to be solid and it's going to be there, and that's what gets you to the final weekend, to the final game of the World Series. And then hope that the way the rotation goes and the way the games go, that you're going to have, Hagen Smith on the mound the last game. What more could you ask for? Yeah. Then you don't have to worry about your bats being hot where you're going to score 10 runs or you don't have a chance. But then again, there's always that, play it like Ole Miss. I hate to even say that name, but if the bats do get hot at the World Series, we'd be hands-on winners. I mean, there's just no denying that. So it's going to be a race. It's going to be a race.
We were talking earlier in the show, and Scott Tabor with us. It's brought to you by Alumni Hall. You see teams, and you see this in a variety of sports, where they have to get into playoff mode down the stretch of the regular season to get themselves into the playoffs. They're fighting for a spot. Arkansas finds themselves not in that camp where they're wondering about their postseason life. They know that's secure. But now, as Ty was mentioning, they got 3 ranked opponents down the stretch, 3 important matchups in the regular season. It's kind of like being in playoff mode already. Do you see that as an advantage for Arkansas, that you're already having to sharpen even more, knowing that these series of consequence and coming down to A&M and maybe a division title on the line, does that help? Or I mean,
sure it does.
What do you think about having these 3 series of consequence down the stretch to get in the right mindset for the month of June?
Well, I think that's a good point, because our mindset is not we got to win these games just to get into the tournament, and we got to win these games just to get into this or that. Their mindset is, we really, really, really want to go in and play good, solid, fundamentally sound baseball, and we want to win these series and win these games. So we'll be a top 8 seed. So we're not worried about not making the tournament. We're wanting to be a top 8 seed, so you have everything at home to the regionals and the super regionals. That's just the best path to the World Series. And then when you get to the World Series, it's all hands on deck. You never know what's going to happen. And so that's what their mindset should be. And I think the coaching staff is probably looking at that also. They may, you say, tweak the lineup. There's no tweaking in this lineup. You have so many tools and so many players. But they can look down now at stats. And I've been looking at stats a little bit. And, numbers, baseball is a game of season-long averages, and that's where you find out where you fall. And you can see the cream rising to the top, and you can see the guys that aren't hitting. Well, they haven't hit really well all year. You just keep waiting for them to hit. And so the pitchers the same way. ERAs went from sub-2s. Now you've got some 3s, and you've got some 5s, and you've got some 4s, because it's a law of averages, and it's hard to maintain excellence all through the baseball season. It's just a grind. So, I think they're playing for a lot. I think everybody on the team knows, everybody in the stands know, everybody in the nation knows. If we do start hitting the ball a lot, or start changing up what we do, playing a little more small ball, moving runners around, and that may be something they have to go to. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Mason Molina's back in the rotation after the ankle injury. He's penciled in for Sunday, and Dave was not quite set on that the other night after the Missouri State game, but when the notes came out, the lefty's going to start on Sunday. Give us some insight that when you came off a kind of a short-term injury and you're getting that first start back, is there anything different in your preparation of your Mason Molina for this weekend?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If you come off of an injury that's not an arm injury, his arm will probably be a little more rested. His command won't be as sharp, which he's had a little trouble with that lately. It may go the other way. He may be sharper. But coming off a foot injury, and then, like I said, having a little bit more rest on your arm, sometimes your breaking pitches aren't as sharp. Sometimes the things, you need a little bit of tiredness in the arm to really be in a groove. So it'll be interesting to see, if he has a little more hop on his fastball, if he has his control, if he stays out over his front leg and really snaps off his curveball, how sharp he'll be. He could come back out and be early season Mason Molina, where every pitch goes exactly where he wants, and he is just tough as can be when he's got his control. So hopefully that's the one we see.
We're talking with Scott Tabor via the McClarty Daniel hotline, courtesy of our friends at Alumni Hall. Scott, I don't know if you caught the story that the Kentucky coach was mad about. The South Carolina fans were pouring beer on his players. Do you ever remember an incident like that in the Southwest Conference days, or was that an every weekend occurrence maybe for you guys?
Well, they didn't serve beer in the stadiums. The stadiums, goodness, the little minor league, the little high school fields we played at in Southwest Conference most of the time, except for A&M in Texas. They'd throw stuff at you. They'd ball notes up and throw them in the dugout or chunk them down at you. Being a kid, you couldn't help but read them, and some of them were pretty funny. Most of it was just verbal. They didn't throw beer and stuff at you the way they do now. But yeah, it's the minor leagues, you see that a lot because there's a lot of beer flowing. Friday night, quarter beer night in Memphis, Tennessee. It was fun.
What could go wrong on quarter beer night in
What
Memphis?
could go wrong?
What possibly?
Trade a baseball for 3 nutty buddies and a hot dog. So that was always a lot of fun.
Hey, Hagen Smith is second now all-time on the career strikeouts list. He's 35 behind the tie, 36 to break Nick Schmidt's record. Does he do this in the regular season? And where is that in the recesses of your mind as a pitcher? I mean, I know that publicly they'll tell you, I'm not thinking about that, and all. They'll say the right things, but when you got a chance to break a record, how is that working through your thought process?
If it is, it's not during the game. I guarantee you he's not sitting out there going, "Oh, I just need one more to break the record." Because it's not a world record on wins or something nationally recognized. This is something that's probably in the back of his mind, and he knows it's coming. I don't think he's worried about when he's going to break it or if he's going to break it. And it's going to happen, and shoot, the way he throws it could happen in 2 games. You just never know how that's going to go. But I hope he breaks it during the regular season. I hope he breaks it at home, so he'll get the standing ovation, the recognition, and all the things that he deserves, because he is just having a fantastic season and a fantastic career.
Yeah, we were kind of playing it out yesterday. So you got to get 36 more strikes to break it. And Scott, if he averaged 9, then that would put him in doing it in Hoover. If he had less than that, he could potentially do it in the regional. But I highly doubt he's able to get it between today or later on tonight and then next weekend in Mississippi State, unless he just goes berserk.
Yeah,
which
there's some good math going on up there in the studios these days. Jeff must have done all the math.
Every once in a while,
he's got his shoes off.
Yeah, every once in a while.
There you go. No, you know what? And it's going to be fun to watch, because Hagan is just fun to watch every time he goes out. I'll be anxious to see if they lead him out a little longer right now. I don't know why they would, but and I think they've done a great job. And I'll tell you this from personal experience. They've done a great job of not leaving their starters in so long that by the end of the season, they're dragging, because they know that the end of the season could be epic this year, and they want to make sure they have them fully loaded, ready to go.
Scott, let me ask you one last thing before we let you go. So Molina's coming back. You mentioned maybe that his throwing arm will be rested, which is a good thing since it wasn't an arm injury. Tiger's wheeled deal these last 2 games. If he finishes the next 3 games throwing like gas, do you leave him in that 2 spot, or do you put Molina back? How do you go about that if you're Hobbs and Van?
Leave him where he's comfortable. If you're doing great in the 3rd game, the 3rd game's as important as the 2nd game. They all count a point. They put 1 point in the W column. That's what you want. So if that's where he's been throwing in the Sunday game, you don't really want to mess with success. There's a lot of guys you could slide into that 2nd bracket. You could throw in, any of the guys. Gage Wood the other night looked fantastic. It's the best I've seen him look all year. Ben Bybee, Cooper Dawson, all those guys, you could slide them into that 2nd spot, get 4, 5, 6 innings out of them. They have that kind of stuff. So it's, I think what they're probably going to do is put him back, where he belongs and see how he does. Probably have a short leash. So the bullpen will come into play again. I don't know why you would move Tiger up. There's nothing really to gain. It's not going to help his ego anything. Yeah, I'm number 2 now instead of number 3. Hey, they're all number 1. They're all number 1. So I think he should probably leave in that 3rd spot.
All right. Scott, enjoy the weekend, and hopefully pick some winners in the Derby tomorrow as well.
2 across the board, baby. 2 across the board.
There you go. Scott Tabor with us every Friday, breaking down some Razorback baseball. It's brought to you by Alumni Hall, your ultimate Razorback shopping experience. The best and largest licensed apparel you'll find for the whole family, like Nike, Champion, Columbia, Onward Reserve, Peter Millar. Plus, they've got the Yeti accessories and gifts. If you're a student, faculty member at the U of A, or you've served in the military or currently in the military, bring your ID for an extra discount of 10%. Plus, you earn cash back with their Hall Pass rewards. $10 off for every 150 points you earn at Alumni Hall. They're next to Whole Foods, or shop online at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, it's where Razorback fans shop. Chuck, I'm looking here in the notes, and Arkansas this weekend enters the 3-game set, looking for its 7th consecutive series win against Kentucky, as well as its 4th consecutive road series win over the Wildcats. The Hogs have not lost a weekend series in Lexington since 2011. But this is a much different Kentucky team than probably those last 13 years we're talking about here.
Yeah, they've here and there they've had some good runs. They put together a good season or 2 every now and then. But Mingione's done a good job there. For those who don't remember who he is, if you're a Razorback baseball fan, when we play Mississippi State, that really animated first base coach over there. I mean, he was like, he was a piece of work. And he's their head coach, and he's still a piece of work. And he's a good coach, though. I mean, they do things in an unorthodox way there. They first order of business there is hitting, and they can hit. And that ballpark, I've not been there in a long time, but that ballpark was always really conducive to guys who swung for the fences. And so, you might have that angle this weekend too.
Am I making up, or didn't it just get renovated? Didn't they just?
Yeah, they renovated it. I don't know what they've done in terms of the outfield, in terms of how deep it is there.
Okay. Well, that is your only top 10 matchup in the SEC. You got Vanderbilt and Georgia. That's a ranked matchup. Alabama and Mississippi State. Also some teams like Tennessee and Texas A&M that are on the road with teams that are trying to get back on track. But it's, again, the season gets condensed here down the stretch. Curious who comes out. Like Scott said, there's definitely potential this team does it. Don't know 100% if you're sold on that they're going to pull it out, though, in these next 3 series just based on the competition.
Well, I'm much more focused on June, guys. I got to be honest. I'm much more focused on June than how they do this weekend. Or I think that this is a team that's built for June. And I think Tabor made a point a minute ago that I think is really important. We get frustrated as fans when Hagen Smith struck out 14 batters and they're yanking him after the 6th inning. Or, a guy's got a really good game going as a starter. They pull him out, and the guy coming out of the bullpen doesn't do so well. You think, man, what was that guy thinking? Now you're to the point in the season where your starters aren't spent. They're not spent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see one guy out there that he looks like he's got a tired arm. I don't see that. And so that's going to benefit them a lot. Kentucky's better than they used to be. I think they'll win the series this weekend. But I don't think it affects one thing that's going to happen in June if Kentucky wins twice this weekend.
Well, but you look at this team. If you, with the exception of 1 or 2 players maybe on this team, if you have the slightest of injury, if you appear tired or you appear like that the grind has really hit you, there's somebody probably just about as good ready to take your spot. So you can't let your guard down, not because of the opponent, but you're going to lose your place on the lineup card with this team because that's how deep this team is. So I think that keeps everybody sharp too to a great degree.
I think it certainly is a factor. Here's the thing. There's a pretty good chance we've seen it repeatedly this year and sometimes you just plug a guy in a midweek game, or you give a guy a start behind the plate maybe in a conference ball game, or you tweak the batting order here and there. The guy that comes in, most of the time there's a pretty good chance he's going to do well.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the guys that they bring in, the spot starters, I think about a guy like Souza. He's not an every game guy, but when he plays, he always seems to be a factor.
Yeah.
And that's the way a lot of them are. These catchers, I mean, my gosh, it's like they draw them out of a hat someday. And the guys come in and do well.
But you look at Molina's injury, and no one really in that brief opportunity could really unseat him as one of the 3 starters. So he's back in the lineup this weekend.
Well, and I don't think that was ever the plan. I don't think it was ever the plan to have somebody come in and unseat him as a starter. I think, again, when you've got as many arms as they have, and when you know you're going to be there in June, so to speak, you don't pitch a guy like Molina, when he's ailing a little bit like he was the last time out. If you're still trying to get into the tournament, if you're trying to host, if you're trying to put yourself in a position to do better in June, you might pitch him then. But I just think where they are right now allowed them the luxury of giving him a weekend off when he was not 100%. And that is a luxury. It is a luxury this time of year.
It all gets started today at 5:30 right here on most of these ESPN Arkansas stations and hitthatline.com because it's 6:30 Eastern time into Lexington. 1 o'clock tomorrow and then noon on Sunday.
Get that Hit That Line Now app because I saw where like Dick Gabriel and some other guy you've never heard of are doing the game, and they'll be Kentucky folks. So you'll want to listen to Phil call the game as well. All this springtime stuff, and you look outside, it seems like it gets greener a little bit more every day. Great time to visit the Ozarks and Gaston's White River Resort. Be a great weekend to drive to Gaston's, even if you can't stay, but just a little road trip. Call 870-431-5202 and make a dinner reservation for tonight or Saturday night or any point this weekend. Maybe just a road trip for lunch up there. Beautiful view of the White River from their restaurant that overlooks the river. Every seat, every table has a great view of the river. That John Boat salad bar, you can start your meal with that. That's got every item you could imagine on there. It's a great way to start the meal. And you can really find everything you want there. Great steaks, great fish items, great burger, too, that they've got on the menu as well. 870-431-5202. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
Follow the show on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine.
This is Dave Neal with ESPN. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
That's my hero. I want to be when I grow up.
This is The Morning Rush.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news about our first ever trade-in acquisition event. We need your trade. So now through Memorial Day, get your state sales tax paid when you trade for any one of our road-ready certified vehicles. That's right, state sales tax paid when you trade. Another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria has always been a staple of downtown Fort Smith, as has the Steel Horse Rally, which is in town this weekend. So if you're riding around on Friday and Saturday and you're looking for great pizza, drinks, and more, stop by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria in downtown Fort Smith. Get your official Steel Horse Rally charity cup for just $5, and you can use it at Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey & Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey & Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit kevinhickeylaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey & Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
It's spring cleaning sale time at Jelco Outdoors. Savings from 50 to 75% off on select clothing, footwear, hunting and fishing equipment, casual clothing, hunting clothing, work clothing for men, women, and children, work boots, safety shoes, western boots, all 50 to 75% off. Rods, reels, baits, hunting equipment, all 50 to 75% off. Select group of handguns, rifles, and shotguns in the firearms department at cost or below. Don't miss the big spring cleaning sale at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith.
Hey, Ty Richardson for A Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. They service commercial and residential lawns for weed management and fertilization for a lush, healthy lawn. Need bush hogging? They do that too. A Cut Above also offers tree and limb removal. Don't forget hauling and dumpster rental as well. More than just a mowing service, they're A Cut Above. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. Lawn, landscaping, power washing, stump grinding, leaf removal, mulching, flea tick, and mosquito control. 719-5605.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hogs. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
So Sam Pittman is going to be at the Kentucky Derby tomorrow night. A little different from the last time he went. He's going to be with some folks from Hot Springs. Went, I think, back in 2012 when he was a Tennessee assistant. Take a listen.
When I was an assistant at Tennessee in 2012, we went up there, but my seats were right by the outdoor porta potties. And this year, the seats are going to be a little bit better, I think.
Well, you're the head coach at Arkansas now. Well, that ought to be fun. I've been to the track. I've never been to the actual race. What about attire? I mean, you just don't show up at the Derby in a sports shirt, do you?
They're going to say, do you own one of the horses? That's how good I'm going to look, Paul.
That was pretty good back and forth between him and Paul Feinbaum yesterday. Dress for success. It sounds like that's what Sam Pittman's doing tomorrow night.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I got a note during one of the breaks earlier that Coach Pittman's coming to Fort Smith on May 8th. Next week for the Boys and Girls Club volunteer banquet. So we're talking about coaches getting out and being in the community. Beth sent me a note from the Fort Smith Boys and Girls Club. So there's a chance for Coach to see Coach. He'll be in town for that. So, but the Derby, maybe he'll have some Derby stories for them next week. I know that's a big time when you get to go. And I know when Coach Bielema was here, it was always a big deal. I think he took his whole staff one time to the Derby up there.
That's kind of cool. That is a bucket list event. Hopefully at some point we'll
Tommy will be taking you one of these years.
I was going to say,
I'm sure.
We'll go as a show. Get to go and experience that.
Probably not going in the same style that the coaches have been in. I imagine
I can't afford Armani,
we'll have
man.
to drive. We'll have to stay way out of town.
Yeah.
See, Todd, Chuck, let's talk about this. This is when you unwind the expense budget. Like we've got to get him. I've tried to teach him. It's been nearly 6 years. When in doubt, just expense it. He just can't get in that line of thinking, and I don't understand it. Maybe he will someday. But this is when
you've worked here 6 years.
You unwind the rubber band for in this type of situation. Now, you mentioned Sam Pittman coming down to the Boys and Girls Club for Fort Smith. He's also going to be a part of the One Razorbacks Road Show. Him, Hunter Yurchek, and others that are going to be making their way to Heber Springs, Jonesboro, Little Rock, Forest City. Mentioned Fort Smith. He'll be probably there the following week. Pine Bluff, El Dorado, and Texarkana across the state. Tommy, I think I'm more interested in the restaurants that they're going to and these mainstays in some of the spots that they're making a pit stop in.
Leon's Catfish in Pine Bluff. Sign me up.
Good.
I bet it's real good.
Pop's
I bet they got
Texarkana.
crispy catfish and some good tartar sauce there.
Well, maybe we go find out. Maybe we take the road trip. We can borrow a bus with them.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more thing to get into. Arkansas softball, like the baseball team in action this week. They're at home. The game's been moved up. They've got 2 games today, starting at 3:30. Doubleheader after that. Apparently, it's karaoke night too. In addition to the senior game being tomorrow, which was originally slated for Sunday, but because of inclement weather, the ladies are going to be playing a day earlier. So I know that baseball gets the majority of the air in the room with this show, but as softball team's having a really good season, especially, again, them on the road. Chuck, I know you talked about this on the podcast a week or so ago. They're almost impossible to beat on the road. And like Dave Van Horn's been the kind of the mainstay here when it comes to being a good road coach, but Courtney Deifel typically has them playing just about as good as they are at home.
What is it, 15 of 16 now?
Yeah.
Road series. 15 of the last 16 road series they've won. I mean, that's a remarkable run. I mean, you just don't do that. They're going to be in, from what I gather, obviously there's a little bit more to do, but it looks like they're going to be in the top 4, get that bye. They're going to be in the NCAA tournament, probably a chance to play at Bogle Park. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn there. So they are, and quite honestly, and I don't know how else to say this, it's middle-aged guys who are the last ones who are fascinated by this. This thing's been a hot property in Fayetteville for a while. People have been going to Bogle Park for a while now. It's just kind of, we're the last ones, and I admit it. We're just kind of the last ones. Like, my God, they're playing softball over there, and 3,000 or 4,000 people are showing up. What in the world's going on?
Yep.
But they are really good. What I'm driving at is some people may be late, hopping on the bus, but Courtney Deifel's really good. And that program is as good as any programs in America. And that facility is as good as anybody's in America. And I've driven by there, and I've stopped in, and I'm telling you, they'd play a softball game on a Saturday in March when we'd have a basketball game, or in February, late February, and it would be cold. And they'd be out there watching that softball game just like they go to Ball-Walker Stadium to watch a baseball team play. It's a committed fan base, and it's a great program.
All right, that is your Hog Update. It's brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8
All right, so we got a big weekend in Lexington, Kentucky. Also in Kentucky overall, as Churchill Downs is going to be packed this weekend. We welcome in our friend Sean from the Fence Man for another Fence Man Friday.
Fenceman Friday Picks. Call the Fenceman for all kinds of fences, controlled access, and custom iron projects. 479-782-3936. The Fenceman. We ain't afraid of no work.
All right, before we go to Lexington, let's just go right to the Derby. I am going Mystic Dan this weekend, guys. I think Mystic Dan, the Arkansas connection, the 20-1 odds right now, that's where I'm putting my money tomorrow night, a little before 6 o'clock, Tommy.
All right, I'm going to go with Forever Young.
Forever Young.
The 11 horse
tomorrow. Chuck, what are you feeling tomorrow night?
Just Steel.
Just Steel.
Is my pick.
All right, Sean, we got Fierceness, Strongholds, Resilience, Society Man, Encino, Just a Touch. Who are you feeling tomorrow night at Churchill Downs?
Well, I don't have a list in front of me and not much of a horse race kind of guy, but
he's going with the gray horse. Go with the gray horse.
There you go. Did you say there was a name called Resilience?
Resilience, and Resilience is 20-1.
I love it. I'll take that name. I like the name. That's what it means to stay in business. Got to be resilient.
In the 19 hole. So we'll see if one of those Chuck, Sean, Ty, or Tommy's pick ends up being tomorrow night. If you go to the Bet Saracen app right now, Tommy Hagen-Smith has over/under 3.5 hits allowed and over/under 10.5 strikeouts at plus 195. That's kind of right on the edge where he's been. He's averaged about 10 strikeouts this season.
It's like they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Does he get it? Does he get it tomorrow night or tonight? Excuse me.
Over on the hits. Three hits is a lot to stay under.
Yeah.
And, so I'm gonna go under and then over on the strikeout.
I think so too. Sean, what are we thinking on the hits allowed and the strikeouts number?
I'm gonna follow Tommy. I think the same thing. I think he's gonna He's a good pitcher, but I think that's where it's going to be.
Yeah, 3 hits to only do that on the road is a ton. Strikeouts, though, Tommy, I think he just gets to like 11 or 12.
Hey, Sean, I saw on Facebook you guys are looking to add to the team again. You got plenty of work. You need more great people to join the team.
Yeah, we really do. We've been super blessed. Our business keeps expanding. We're just moving into different areas. River Valley's been so good to us. So is Northwest Arkansas, Eastern Oklahoma. I need more guys to be able to get the fences in faster. And good pride, good quality work. That's what we need.
782-3936 or stop in to see Sean, 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. Sean, enjoy the weekend. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call? Let me tell you about the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Roll into the season at WT Equipment. Get ready to roll with strong savings on hay tools, compact and mid-range tractors, and even our large commercial-grade hay equipment. Find out and save $5,000, $10,000, or more in cash back. Or get 0% financing for up to 48 months on hay tools, 60 months on mid-range tractors, and up to 72 months on compacts. Hurry, offer ends June 30th for commercial use only. Customer participation subject to credit qualification and CNH Industrial Capital America LLC approval. Standard terms, conditions, and other restrictions apply. Down payment may be required. WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Testosterone levels naturally drop in men with age, often causing a lack of energy, anxiety, weight gain, diminished libido, and performance issues. Don't suffer in silence. Call Maverick Male Medical in Fayetteville today for more about testosterone or weight loss therapy. They focus on your excellent care, optimal health, and performance. Call Maverick Male Medical today at 305-8206. That's 305-8206. Or go to maverickmalemedical.com.
Ty, that's the $1 million question.
This is the Morning Rush.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Matt.
This is Elizabeth.
And this is the reigning champion of my own conference, Robert.
You do realize that's not a thing.
Well, I did receive a plaque commemorating that accomplishment.
Yeah, and I was elected the president of Mars. Anyway, Hog fans, it's that time again.
It's baseball season. And Hog fans, the Stadium Shop has everything you need for Razorback baseball.
From t-shirts, sweatshirts, man cave stuff, and even a Razorback original, the bases loaded beer hats.
Plus, ladies, as well as a restocked women's section, we have the bases loaded beer stein boppers.
Yeah, it's kind of like those old-time space alien antennas, you know?
Yeah, well, not really.
So when you're in Fayetteville, stop by the store at 989 South Razorback Road, next door to Baum Walker Stadium, or you can shop us on them WW Interweb, Facegram, you get it, man.
Dad, do you mean the website?
Yeah.
Which is shoponrazorback.com. That's shoponrazorback.com.
Or call us at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486.
As always,
go Hogs!
Do you need help with your next project? Mentor's Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Mentor's Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at mentorslumber.com. Mentor's Lumber True Value.
Are you ready to indulge in an unforgettable fine dining experience? Then come join us at Uncorked, where every meal is a masterpiece, crafted with the finest ingredients to tantalize your taste buds. And with our extensive selection of cocktails, wine, craft beer, and bourbons, we've got something for everyone. So why not take a break from the ordinary and join us on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodi's? Come savor the moment with us at Uncorked, where every visit is a celebration.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
When you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. But you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson for Jake Neal and his team at Jerry Neal's Barbecue. Jake's dad, Jerry, started cooking barbecue at Jerry Neal's in 1977, and Jake took over and has been doing the same thing ever since. I got ribs the last time I was there. Woo! Man, they were good. Don't forget about the catfish either. It's cooked to order, so it's hot and fresh every single time. The best catfish in the River Valley. Jerry Neal's Barbecue, Catfish, and Catering, 1823 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, a chance of seeing showers and thunderstorms. They will be few and far between. Our high this afternoon, upper 70s to near 80. A chance of isolated showers, a few thunderstorms tonight, and overnight low will drop down in the low to mid 60s. And another round of showers and storms on Saturday, a high upper 70s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your morning.
ESPN 95.3. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
Having Bobby come in here, he knew a lot of our big donors and things. That he has helped me with that. But it takes kind of a village of people. But I have had several conversations with different prominent folks of our state after practice. We practiced in the morning and spring and had lunch with several of them for several different times. And it has been difficult for me to ask, but at the same time, I know it's a necessity for our kids to continue to maintain a good football team.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studio. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Kristen Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McCarty-Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bensenville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
And welcome into hour number 3 of the Morning Rush here on a Fastball Friday. We got 2 important texts here on the McCarty-Daniel hotline, one being from Ben in Little Rock. Tommy, you've been asking about Leon's in Pine Bluff this morning. Apparently it's good. That's what he said.
I didn't think it'd be bad.
That's what Ben in Little Rock said. Also, JT in Hot Springs is wondering of you, when are you going to be a part owner in a horse race in the Kentucky Derby? That's when he wants to know.
Is as far as I made it.
Is that also in Kentucky? Where's the Preakness
at? New York.
Okay. Well, that's still pretty good. That's one of the main 3, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Triple Crown, they call it.
I got you. Again, that's not my expertise at all, but I am going to watch tomorrow night. Excited about tomorrow night and to see what's going down.
You place a bet?
Yeah.
A bet on a horse?
On what? Mystic or
Mystic
whatever.
Dan?
Yeah, Mystic Dan. Steely Dan, Mystic Dan, same thing.
Okay, Dan. You're going to bet on the Dan horse.
Yeah, that's the Hot Springs connection.
It's in tribute to Dan Enos' offense last year. So.
Oh, hopefully not. Then we're in trouble. It's you got to stick with the Arkansans, and since that family's from Hot Springs, That's what I'm going to roll with. Speaking of Arkansans, a couple of them in action last night, including Bobby Portis and the Milwaukee Bucks. They're eliminated. Bobby had a great game, 20 points, 15 rebounds. Just not enough as the Bucks fell to the Pacers, 120-98. Patrick Beverley was throwing balls in the stands. Not a great look for him. He apologized either last night or this morning saying he had to get better. But, again, 2 Arkansas guys in last night. Got Daniel Gafford on tonight. And then you got Isaiah and Jalen still in action this next weekend, I guess, and they'll find out if it's the Mavs or if it's the Clippers next week.
Plus, we'll roll around to some Arkansas basketball conversation this hour. It will be brought to you by the Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. Go to LimbirdTeam.com. And by Maverick Male Medical, your wellness and aesthetic center for men in Northwest Arkansas. Look better, live better, love better. Visit MaverickMaleMedical.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by McClarty Daniel. McClarty Daniel has a vehicle to fit both your style and budget. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, you're never too far from a good deal. Visit McClartyDaniel.com to find your next ride.
Some interesting comments made by Hunter Yurchek about SEC scheduling in The Athletic that I want to talk about in just a bit. But Brent in Searcy has been patiently waiting on the McCarty Daniel hotline for about 30 to 45 minutes this morning. So, Brent, you've got some thoughts on this baseball series against Kentucky as it gets going later on today at 5:30.
Oh, yes, sir, I do. First of all, the SEC network ought to be ashamed of themselves not being in Kentucky this weekend. This is a big series right here. And second of all, I totally expect the Razorbacks to go to Lexington and take care of business, and here is my reason why. Arkansas has been in – Kentucky has got to get ready, get themselves amped up to play the Razorbacks, okay? This is the biggest series they've ever had in their school's history. Razorbacks are used to playing in the pressure cooker, baby. So we're going to go take care of business. There's not a doubt in my mind.
I love that. I love that energy that you're bringing in this morning. I'm going to be honest. I couldn't name me a single Kentucky baseball player. That's because they don't have any history there. That whole state is sucked up by horse racing and basketball. They don't care about baseball and bourbon too. Yes, Tommy, good addition there.
The only Kentucky baseball player I can name to you is Jim Bunning, the former senator from the great state of Kentucky. That's the only Kentucky baseball player I can name for you.
I will say I think there's a lot of truth to what you said about Arkansas being used to this situation. I mean, you look at since what they've done. Dave is like taking a new level, right? Like you went to the College World Series in 04, 09, 12, 15. But then like you think about what you've done since 18, 19, 22. The other seasons where you didn't end up in Omaha, they were terrific for the most part regular seasons, and some ended with regular season crowns, some ended with like postseason crowns. So yeah, there is some truth to Tommy and Chuck what Brent said about this is just typical Arkansas baseball a weekend like this, but Kentucky is not used to this situation.
Oh, I think he's right. I mean, I think that's got a lot to do with it. You know, this is just a personal preference, and I realize in college baseball it's more prevalent, but I don't like teams that ride emotional waves in baseball. I think it's too long a season, and it's too long I mean, there's too much grind. I think you wear yourself out emotionally during the course of a baseball season with those, with the antics and the wild mood swings and things like that. I just and look, we've been raised on Norm DeBryan and Dave Van Horn, and I believe in their way, and I like an even keel, and I think that helps you in weekends like this.
Would you say that really from the time this team hit its stride in early March, they've been very consistent? I mean, people are screaming for the bats to wake up and all these things that are going to get us beat somewhere down the stretch. And all they do is keep doing is piling up wins, 39 of them if you count them. They have been about as consistent a team as you'll watch in any sport.
Because Bama's the only SEC series they've lost. Am I missing one? That's the only one they've lost, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think, look.
I mean, just the way they've played has been consistent, is what I'm saying. Their performance has been consistent.
And I think you'll continue to see that. That's been the hallmark of everything they've done over the years. And I think Dave's even more that way now. Just from the outside looking in. I'm not around it anymore, but from the outside looking in, it seems to me as though he's more on an even keel now than ever before. He's always been an even keel kind of guy, but I think as he's aged, and part of it comes from just, you've seen everything. And you realize that regardless of what happens, life's going to go on. We're going to play again next weekend, win or lose. And so I think he's even more so that way now. And good teams feed off the personalities of their coaches. And bad teams feed off the personalities of their coaches. And I think his helps his team a lot.
Tommy kicked around this question earlier to me, Chuck, and I kind of want your thoughts on it. Does it help Arkansas that they've got 3 ranked teams down the stretch from a just like not losing a focus standpoint? Or is this – 'cause my response earlier was I think if you look in the past 5 or 6 years, there's probably at least 2 ranked teams that they played in the final 3 series. Or is this maybe different than what we're used to seeing in the final 3 series of the year?
Well, I just think it kind of worked out that Kentucky's really good. I think maybe the plan was that Arkansas and A&M would end up being a series with something on the line, and it certainly turned out that it'll be that way. I think they're fine. They're not in a spot this year where they're essentially playing elimination baseball every weekend. Sometimes you get to the final month of the season and you're trying to get in, or you're in, but maybe you'd like to host. You're just okay. You're not really, great. You need to take a step. You're basically playing elimination baseball every weekend. They're not really in that situation this year. They're going to be in the tournament, and as long as they continue to do what they've done, they'll be a national seed. And they'll have a chance to play at home twice. So it's a little bit different situation than if you find yourself having to do well every weekend just to get where you want to be.
See, I think these next 3 weekends are about where you're at amongst those top 8 national seeds. I know they seed them now 1 through 16, but I think these next 3 weekends are the difference between being a 2 seed and being a 6 or 7 seed maybe.
Let me ask y'all about that, because I've watched these play out the last handful of years. It still seems like they're more focused on regional and drama than they would be the actual setup. And the NCAA tournament does this sometimes, where you think a team will be seated higher or lower, but it's a better game that they can mix up. Athletics director connection, former coaches or whatever. Is it that big of a deal nowadays?
Well, it can be. Overall, no. I don't think it's as big as it used to be. Or maybe as big as some people make it out to be, might be the better way to put it. I do like the fact that the committee takes a general view. There have been times I've looked at some of the national seeds and I've thought, man, what are they thinking right there? But then you go back and you take a real look at it. You might not agree with it, but you understand maybe a little better where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I wish they would do, I wish they would reseed it before the College World Series begins.
Yes.
I don't think just because you beat the number 2 seed in a super regional means you should be the number 2 seed at Omaha. I don't think that. I wish they would reseed it. I understand why they don't, but I wish they would.
I think you made this point on halftime earlier this week. Maybe it was on this show, but we have such an SEC bias, and I think we've seen firsthand, i.e. what happened in 2018, what's happened in other years, that there's not just SEC ball players and coaches and teams out there. There's still a lot of good baseball. I know 4 of the top 8 teams are from this conference right now, but we just assume, or at least maybe I do, that the better teams in the SEC are always going to get national seeds. They deserve to be national seeds, and they're always going to come out. And there are a lot of cases where that happens, but it's not locked in year after year.
Well, when you play in a strong conference, your computer numbers are always going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers that get spit out are always going to be in your favor. And so with the strength of the SEC, generally speaking, the numbers are going to be better for successful conference teams in our league in baseball as opposed to some of the other leagues. And that's going to lead to national seeding. But as we've seen over and over and over again, regardless of where you're seated or if you're even seated at all, you got to go win the games. And just because you're not a national seed doesn't mean you can't win the national championship. It just means you're going to have to go on the road to do it. It's a lot of fun to beat another team in their ballpark. You think NC State didn't have fun here leaving that stadium? Oh, my God, they had the time of their lives.
Stillwater.
You think Arkansas didn't have fun leaving some of those other stadiums? Nothing like it in the world.
Yeah, Tommy, you were in Tallahassee in 2009. I was in Stillwater and in Chapel Hill 2 years ago. And, I mean, not that, listen, I'm not ever going to push for games away from Bob Walker Stadium in the postseason. But when you go to someone's place in the postseason and take away what their perceived shot is to Omaha or to advance to a super regional, that's a lot of fun as a home, or that's a visiting team.
You mentioned Tallahassee, you mentioned Stillwater. We've been to Baylor and won in supers. I mean, you know, this idea that you got to play at home to get there is just history doesn't back that up, Chuck.
Well, there's a lot to playing at home. For fans, it just means, hey, we get to get in the car and go watch the game. School's got to put it on. Players have got to deal. Everybody's got to deal with everybody and their brother wanting tickets. Your family's coming up. You want to make sure everybody's taken care of. The players deal with all that. Now, look, they're not the heads of their households like they are in the pros, and not like their wives and kids are coming. It's their parents, aunts and uncles. Most of the time, they tend to it and tend to give the kids an opportunity to deal with what they have to deal with. But there's a lot to playing at home, and not the least of which is expectations of all the people in the stands. And you're trying to please them. And they want to please them. They want to please the fans.
It's pressure.
It's
pressure.
There's a lot of things that come with it. And so there's no guarantee. And my point is even if you're not a national seed, it doesn't mean you can't win the whole thing. And even if you are, you still got to go out and win the game.
Yeah, and let's just look at last year what happened against TCU. And I think, again, there's a lot of holdover players from last year. And I know one season changes from the next. I don't think Hagan's ever going to say this publicly, but I know he wants to outdo what he did last year, as does Brady Tigert, as does every other player in that locker room, in that dugout from last season, that their season ended prematurely. And it was unexpected. I think it was unexpected for the players, definitely unexpected for the fans, and they're sitting at number 2 in the country right now with 3 ranked games and before potentially playing in Bob Walker in the postseason.
And again, I want to go back to something I said yesterday. Sometimes when you don't get into Omaha, it's not because you blew it. It's not because you lost, so to speak. It's because the other team won. TCU earned that series. I mean, TCU got hot, and they earned it. I don't think Arkansas blew it. I think TCU won it. And that will happen when you get to the NCAA tournament. And so there are no guarantees. Even if you're a national seed, even if you're a conference champion, you've still got to go win the games.
Not always easy. If you want to jump in, give your thoughts on baseball on the McLarty Daniel hotline, you do so at 877-377-6963. And you can always stop by, of course, in Northwest Arkansas too, Chuck.
Well, you can. And there's 6 locations in Bentonville and Springdale. And the McLarty Daniel difference, when you walk in the door, you feel it right away. I mean, they're going to welcome you, and you're going to understand that you're important to them. At that very moment, you may be the most important thing to them. And you're going to get a great deal. You're going to get a great deal on an automobile at any of their 6 dealerships. But you're also going to find all the things after the sale that's what's going to keep you coming back. Things like Saturday service, things like complimentary rentals when your car is being serviced, things that keep you on the road. They're going to do that at McLarty Daniel. They understand that's what separates a good buying experience from a bad one. They've been doing this a while. And you're going to understand the difference when you become one of their customers. Again, 6 locations in Bentonville and Springdale. You can check out their selection at McLartyDaniel.com.
Tommy, you mentioned the Cal tracker earlier. I know people have been wondering about Caleb Battle, and there's been some things here and there. But this is from, if you want to follow someone that is up to date on recruiting news nationally in college basketball, Joe Tipton of On3 does a really good job. Caleb Battle is reportedly down, according to him, to Kansas State, Villanova, and Gonzaga. I know he made a trek to Manhattan and Kansas State, also went to TCU and Fort Worth, but those are the 3 places. I know people were wondering, is there a possibility, both mutually, that Cal and him would want to stay in Arkansas? Sounds like he's going to be moving on from Fayetteville in his final season of college eligibility.
Yeah, and I just don't think there's not going to be any references to last year. Chuck, I don't know how you'll handle the broadcast sheet different, because a lot of times early you'll talk about last year's stats. I guess you'll talk about them wherever they were at, but this team's not going to have any stats from a year ago that will be even relevant. A player on this team not going to have any relevant stats to a season ago at Arkansas. I'm sure maybe that's happened somewhere else in sports, but I don't recall it ever happening in Arkansas where there's 0 ties to the previous year's team.
Well, the team's not assembled yet, so I don't know exactly what the makeup's going to be. I never expected Battle to be back. That night and that day when John Calipari first arrived here, there were 3 of them that were there, but Caleb was not one of them, and Tremont was not one of them, and these other guys, they were not in that group, so I never expected him to be here. And the only player, and I'll just say it, and I may be totally off base, I have no inside knowledge on this at all. The only player I've wondered about was Devo. He was there. Devo was there. So he's the one that I've wondered about, but I have no inside knowledge on whether or not that's going to happen or not. But, I just can't imagine any of the players who weren't there that night being on the team next year. I've just never thought that would be a possibility.
I think, if I remember correctly, and I mentioned Kansas State, I think Jerome Tain had to do that, not this past year, but the year before. He had a Tyler Perry. It's Tyler Perry's the connection that was playing there from Springdale Harbor for a little bit. But it's just like the transfer portal, it's utilized, and there's a lot of players, but rare is it, like you said, Tommy, it's the entire roster that's a makeover.
One thing about Battle, though, guys, Battle's going to go where he can get his shots. Each player's got their own personal agenda when it comes to the portal. We think of it as 100% money, and that's got a lot to do with it. But in the case of Battle's got to go somewhere where he can get his shots. Are you kidding me? You think Caleb Battle's going to get his shots on this team that John Calipari's assembling? That's why I never even remotely thought it was a possibility. I don't know where he's going to end up. The 3 schools that you mentioned, I know the one school where he'd get his shots, and that's at Kansas State.
Yeah.
He wouldn't get his shots at the other places, I don't think. But Caleb's going to go where he can shoot 20, 25 times a game. And if you watched him play last year, I mean, to me, that's the thought that Battle was going to be back. And I'm not knocking Caleb. I like Caleb. But he's going to go where he can shoot 20, 25 times. It's like Muss said. They asked him, does Battle have the green light? And Muss said, well, he thinks he does. So, that's – if you're going to have a player who always thinks he has the green light, I'm just going to say it. There are better options.
I saw, and Richard had a piece in Whole Hog Sports. A dude, Tiero, had some positive things about Arkansas. I know the popular name in the last 24 hours or so is that Toppin kid that is a possibility here. It is. I will say I have had fun these last 23 days since Cal has taken over, seeing the possibilities. Now, only 6 have come to fruition, but it's just fun to, again, that influx of basketball. Not that you didn't have it at times under Muss, but the caliber of player has been even amped up a little bit more. I've enjoyed that. I don't know if y'all give a crap.
It's been amped up a lot more. Not a little more, a lot more. I mean, it's been amped up a lot more. Of course it's fun. I mean, I'm like you are. I've said this before. I mean, every day I just kind of shake my head like, is this really happening?
Pinch me.
And it is.
Yeah, it is truly something I don't think any of us thought we would ever see before. All right, all of our championship under construction conversation brought to you by the Lindbergh Real Estate Group in Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley there for you. Find them at lindberghteam.com, and by Maverick Male Medical, your wellness and aesthetic center for men in Northwest Arkansas. Look better, live better, love better. Visit maverickmalemedical.com.
All right, when we return, we're going to go to Kentucky, not to Lexington, but to Churchill Downs. Talk about what's going on tomorrow night at 6, and we'll mention a little more about this baseball team as we continue on here on a Fastball Friday.
The Cal era is here. Championship Under Construction is brought to you by Lindbergh Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to lindberghteam.com. Lindbergh Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to lindberghteam.com. Maverick Male Medical, your wellness and aesthetic center for men in Northwest Arkansas. Look better, live better, love better. Visit maverickmalemedical.com.
Roll into the season at WT Equipment. Get ready to roll with strong savings on hay tools, compact and mid-range tractors, and even our large commercial-grade hay equipment. Find out and save $5,000, $10,000, or more in cash back. Or get 0% financing for up to 48 months on hay tools, 60 months on mid-range tractors, and up to 72 months on compacts. Hurry, offer ends June 30th for commercial use only. Customer participation subject to credit qualification and CNH Industrial Capital America LLC approval. Standard terms, conditions, and other restrictions apply. Down payment may be required. WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Testosterone levels naturally drop in men with age, often causing a lack of energy, anxiety, weight gain, diminished libido, and performance issues. Don't suffer in silence. Call Maverick Male Medical in Fayetteville today for more about testosterone or weight loss therapy. They focus on your excellent care, optimal health, and performance. Call Maverick Male Medical today at 305-8206. That's 305-8206. Or go to maverickmalemedical.com.
I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
This is the Morning Rush.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
I'm Jim Cash III, owner of the Diamond Center. I invite you to come visit us for all your jewelry needs, including celebrations, purchases, repurposing, or jewelry repairs. The Diamond Center offers the largest selection of engagement rings in the area, along with complete custom design for all those special occasions. My family's legacy in jewelry goes back 4 generations. We strive for excellent customer service, integrity in our pricing, and jewelry of the very best quality and craftsmanship. This is all backed by our exclusive free lifetime warranty. Come see us at the Diamond Center, celebrating a legacy of love.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria has always been a staple of downtown Fort Smith, as has the Steel Horse Rally, which is in town this weekend. So if you're riding around on Friday and Saturday and you're looking for great pizza, drinks, and more, stop by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria in downtown Fort Smith. Get your official Steel Horse Rally charity cup for just $5, and you can use it at Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make Awake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make Awake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make Awake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make Awake Bait and Tackle.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbor since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
The paint store in Van Buren is still the place to go to when doing the job right really matters. Our unique line of Richards paint products was chosen by me to perform for you. This is Sue, and my 35 years of experience ensures you get the right paint and the right color. That's important to you and me. Thank you for your support. Come see what I'm talking about. 1414 Fayetteville Road, the paint store, Van Buren.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Well, Ty, I was just waiting to talk to you. Looking forward to being on with you today. How are you?
What a way to start your day. It's like Folgers in your cup. The best part of us waking up is Ty Richardson. I can't make that
It's
rhyme.
still the coffee part for
It's
me.
still
I mean, no disrespect to you guys. I enjoy visiting with you after I've had my coffee, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Probably the best part of waking up is that Folgers in your cup. I got to watch that soundbite after this, after the show this morning. So I guess that's more of y'all's, was that an 80s or 90s run that they had?
Their jingle
I
forever.
believe in the 70s.
Okay. It was way back
It used to
in.
be Mountain Grown. It's the richest kind.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
it was Folgers in your cup. Tom, I'm going to blow your mind here a minute. There's another Arkansas horse. in the
Is that
Derby.
3?
I know you're going to talk to Lang here in a little bit. This one might even be the best bet. Honor Marie, 13-1. Owned by a family that lives in Texarkana. And Ben Curtis is the jockey. I mean, he's good. You know, Ben Curtis is good. So you might have to bet on a couple of horses.
Okay.
If you're not careful, you're going to have so much money bet that you're not going to know which horse to root for.
I'll
That
expense
can
it.
happen if you're not careful.
I'm not worried about it. If I win money, I win money. If I lose, I expense it. There's always the.
I don't think you can expense bets.
Well, it's for the show. It's for show content, so I can. I'll shove it in.
How many
that
of those
way.
have been approved so far in your season?
Every one of them. I get
That'd be
Bruce.
0.
I get.
Okay.
See, Chuck. For those, I just get Tommy's higher up to approve them, and you just go above Tommy in that
gotcha.
situation.
Okay. All right.
Try that a couple times. See how it works out for you.
I don't think I'll get fired. One of the higher ups here in the state is our friend Larry Rath of Rath Auto Resources, who I know, Larry, you let your employees expense bets, right?
Yeah.
Say it again, Ty.
You let your employees expense bets, right?
No. No, and I think you're kind of poking the bear there, Ty. I'd be careful.
I'm hitting the bear with the stick. What's going on this morning?
Gambles at the car lot.
No.
No.
Strict no gambling policy over there.
No gambling at the car lot. No, ever. That's right. What we do have going on is the first ever trade-in acquisition event. And I'm so excited about this, guys. You get your sales tax paid when you trade. We need those trade-ins, and we're paying your state sales tax and the whole deal when you trade a car in at Rath Auto Resources, making it really easy for you to get that better, nicer car that you've been waiting on. We've got a big selection, cars and trucks and SUVs, all the most popular makes and models, so you don't have to drive all over town. Come on in, find the one you want, trade in, and get your sales tax paid this weekend. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. You know, we just got back from Puerto Rico, big Meineke convention out there, and the Meineke Car Care Center was recognized as one of the top centers in the nation. We're so proud of Philip and his team back there. If you're looking for a place to take care of all of your automotive needs, the Meineke Car Care Center would love a chance to earn your business. Tires, brakes, batteries, whatever it is you need, we take care of it. Major repairs, we can do it all back there in the Meineke Car Care Center. We'd love a chance to earn your business back there. Better yet, trade it in, get your sales tax paid during this trade-in acquisition event going on this weekend. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. We're at 4515 Towson Avenue here in Fort Smith. Check us out online, rathauto.com.
All right, that's Rath Auto Resources, Fort Smith, and in Springdale. Larry, enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one. Folks, come and see it.
Chuck, you've thrown me for a loop. I was headstrong on going Mystic Dan.
I know.
Now I've got 3 different.
They got Honor Marie, Mystic Dan. What do you do? You're going to bet on both of them, aren't you?
Probably, yeah. Because that doubles my odds to win, right? That's how that works.
Oh, yeah. That's certainly one way to look at it.
I will say 7's my lucky number, and Honor Marie is in the 7 slot, so I might be taking my
Hey,
allegiance.
I know people that go to the track and bet the 7 all day long.
They walk away with a good amount of money, right? Or no, their wallet's gone.
Well, it just depends if the 7 wins or not.
Depends on the day. All right, let's talk to Philip in Benville this morning. He's got some thoughts on Razorback softball. What's up, Philip?
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, I don't know if everybody knows, but the Lady Razorbacks have got a big series this weekend, not only in playing Ole Miss, but the two teams above them are going head-to-head. There's a possibility, if numbers are right, that, the Lady Razorbacks could either be sitting at third or possibly second going into the SEC tournament.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit earlier. You obviously know perhaps a little bit more about it. It sounds like they pretty much got a top four. I hesitate to say locked up, but they're in good position to get a top four, and they all get buys in the first round. Is that right?
Yeah, so basically what you got is so A&M and Florida are playing this weekend, and Florida is one game ahead of the Lady Razorbacks, and A&M is 2 games. Now, if they come in looking at it, if Florida can take two out of the 3 games, there's a possibility that you can, and with Arkansas having to sweep, they would have to sweep Ole Miss. You could have a 3-way tie for second place going into the tournament.
That's interesting. Well, Phil, we appreciate the update. Again, their final weekend in Bogle Park, regular season-wise, as they host Ole Miss. It's a doubleheader today. They're not playing on Sunday, so senior day is going to be moved up to Saturdays.
Graduation tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be the setup this weekend.
Yep. It'll be going to be a busy weekend, and the ladies certainly have done a lot, and I think we'll get even more publicity. They just need to break through that
get to OKC,
that
baby,
ceiling and get to OKC. And hey, this league's going to get even harder once Oklahoma comes into it, because they're the gold standard in softball.
Listen, OKC's what, 3.5 hours from Fayetteville. It's close to the River Valley. I mean, Omaha's 6. I mean, you have a luxury of being where we are in the natural state for the baseball and softball prestige, if you will, in the final games.
Maybe there's some players in Oklahoma that just don't fit into OU's program that will work for recruits for Arkansas now moving into the
Norman
SEC.
sucks.
I don't know.
Fayetteville's 1,000 times better. Norman is just a terrible town. It's trash. Oh, Stillwater's better.
They drink White Claws over there.
Sounds home for the best sports talk.
I was listening to the Morning Rush, and I thought I heard the voice of Angel.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Testosterone levels naturally drop in men with age, often causing a lack of energy, anxiety, weight gain, diminished libido, and performance issues. Don't suffer in silence. Call Maverick Male Medical in Fayetteville today for more about testosterone or weight loss therapy. They focus on your excellent care, optimal health, and performance. Call Maverick Male Medical today at 305-8206. That's 305-8206. Or go to maverickmalemedical.com.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Hey, this is Arkansas wide receiver Isaiah Satania, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the middle of the month when the bills aren't due.
Honey, what are you doing?
Planning our plumbing problems, of course.
You can't plan our plumbing problems, but you should plan our plumber.
What do you mean?
Like all important contacts, I keep Westart Plumbing in my phone. They're always there when we need them, and they don't overcharge since they know we don't plan our plumbing problems. Here, honey, here's their number.
646-5151. Thanks, babe.
Westart Plumbing. We keep you flowing.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Dallas Street Dental. Refuse to compromise when it comes to replacing missing teeth. Dr. Bill Ligon at Dallas Street Dental can make your smile look, feel, and function almost exactly the way it did before you lost any teeth. In some cases, even better. Dental implants function like your natural teeth and make it possible for you to enjoy those juicy steaks this grilling season. Look younger and smile with confidence with dental implants from Dallas Street Dental. Schedule your free implant consultation today at 479-452-6600.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Are you tired of processed meat and flimsy sandwiches? Subchain's gotten to your last nerve? Then I have the place for you. Come see my buddy Josefa at Lily's Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District in downtown Fort Smith. Locally sourced meat sliced daily and fresh breads from Harvest Moon Bakery. Daily specials announced on Facebook, including the Poke Bowl every Friday and Saturday. For to-go orders, call 479-567-3403.
My name is Lily. My papa makes the best sandwiches at Lily's Sandwich Shop. Come by and see him at the Bakery District today.
Are you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forsgren wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forsgren has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forsgren is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forsgren is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forsgren legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at goforsgren.com. That's goforsgren.com. Forsgren Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard, until the other team scores. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news about our first ever trade-in acquisition event. We need your trade, so now through Memorial Day, get your state sales tax paid when you trade for any one of our road-ready certified vehicles. That's right, state sales tax paid when you trade. Another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Except we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC has got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. Trusted pool experts and your source for backyard fun. Locations in Fort Smith, Springdale, and always online at burtonpools.com.
Into your SEC update this morning here on the Morning Rush. Tommy, we mentioned some pivotal baseball series this weekend. Arkansas, of course, in Lexington, Kentucky. You've also got some series that you need to keep an eye on, including the Tennessee Volunteers traveling to the Florida Gators. You've also got Texas A&M going to LSU. Those are the four teams vying to win the SEC, not just the West and the East, but the SEC overall. So these next 3 weeks, you're playing A&M. You're not getting Tennessee. Kind of bummed you don't play the Volunteers this season based on the way they've been so far this year.
Yeah, and, big weekend. I don't know if it's a moving weekend, and I'm not really sure from a postseason standpoint if you finish first or second in one of these divisions what it's going to do as far as, your real path to to Omaha. it may change you a national seed or two, but I think this weekend will determine maybe some of the order in that top 8. I think these 4 teams we're talking about, Arkansas, Kentucky being up there, I think are both going to be national top 8 seeds at this point. I think Lexington and Fayetteville's both going to have, and College Station are going to have, super regionals if they advance that far. So might be the difference in whether you're 3 or 5, something like that, the seedings. But other than that, I don't think there's a lot to play for.
Yeah, and I know a lot of you don't want to be the number 1 overall seed. And you're not wanting the team to take a dive by any means, but you're kind of in the back of your head hoping they don't win these next 3 series and win the overall SEC, because that would probably put you at the number 1 overall seed.
Now, I would say that and I'm not certain who Kentucky has after Arkansas, but if they lose a couple of series down the stretch, I could see them playing their way to the bottom of that top 8 and maybe not being as certain of a super regional, but they've had a heck of a season.
They got Florida, Tommy, on the road, and then Vanderbilt at home to close out their season.
They could they could play well and lose those. But you look at where they're at in the RPI. The RPI in the end-all be-all, but they were 4th midweek. Hadn't checked it going into this weekend. I'll look at that. But both Arkansas and Kentucky were both in the top 4 of the NCAA RPI. So.
Well, that is the setup for baseball this weekend, and curious to see what ends up coming out. Of not just this weekend, but the remaining 3 weeks in the conference.
Yeah. And I'm looking here now. I'm just pulling up. A&M's 1, Kentucky's 2, Arkansas's 3 in the RPI that was updated May the 2nd. So it's valid through yesterday. So, those are 3 teams I think. I don't know if it's too early to probably say locks for a top 8 national seed, but they're as close as you're going to get right now in the SEC.
Other thing, Sam Pittman, as we close down our SEC update, was on the SEC Network with Paul Feinbaum yesterday. And I know, again, a lot of you don't like the NIL subject, but I thought it was interesting how he answered just the difficulty of asking people for money. Here was Sam's response when Paul asked him that question.
You're asking for help, support, which is understandable, but it's still a foreign concept to give money so players can make money.
I think it's difficult because I think we all, when we go ask for something, you want something in return, and I think that's fair, whether it be self-gratification or whatever it is, a name on a stadium, a name on a building, a name on a wall. And a lot of times this does not necessarily happen. And so that to me makes it more difficult, along with certainly if you're going to go raise millions of dollars, the outcome on the field has to certainly be good as well.
What he's talking about there is the pressure of winning. Hey, I go ask, fill in the name of a booster, a Tyson, a Stevens, a Walton, or whoever, for this money. He what I hear in his voice there, Tyson, he understands that the return on the investment, the expectation is, by God, you should win if I'm going to give you this money. We expect not just, an above 500 season. We expect, 9-10 wins. So asking for the money means putting the pressure on his shoulders to give the performance. That's what I hear in his voice there.
Yeah, there's pressure, but he's also making $5 million. So it's college football. Yeah. Listen.
$5 million is the bottom half of this league, big boy.
I do appreciate the honesty, but at the same time, it's like Kirby Smart just signed a $13 million contract. I mean, coaches, I got to be honest, and this is not a shot at Sam. This is an overarching view of the situation. The money that college football coaches are making in Division I, they shouldn't be complaining about NIL. Okay? They just shouldn't. And I realize it's harder than it's ever been to recruit, keep kids on campus, but you're paid handsomely. Not even handsomely, sexist, or whatever word I'm looking for this morning. You're paid. It's the degree above handsomely, whatever that is. Just absurdly. Pick a word. So
who's the first coach to say, you know what, I'm going to forego the $13 million, and I'm going to take $2 million, and I'm going to give the difference to NIL? Who's going to be the first coach to do that?
Well, you can't legally do that now.
Who's going to? You can give up your contract, and they can redirect the money. Who's going to be the coach to sign up to take less so the school can, so those that donate to the foundation to support their contract, because that's what happens, right? The state's on the hook for, less than $1 million or whatever it is, and
Yeah.
then the foundation makes up the rest, rather than the foundation having to put that money in to guarantee the coach's contract. When is that booster money going to be redirected at the coach's will towards NIL? I'm going to guess 2 weeks from never would be my guess.
The same day that I give up the free food that I get here working at the radio station. It's not going to happen.
So it's not going to happen, and these aren't trees that grow to the sky with the money that can be donated. So I hear what Coach is saying, but what Coach is saying is, man, I go ask one of these fat cats for some money, they're going to expect me to win.
I will say this as we close this down before we talk to Lane Whitman, who's going to give us some thoughts about Oakland and the Kentucky Derby this weekend. If you told me, Ty, you invest the next year $150, guaranteed 8 wins, I'd do it right now. But there's no guarantee, like Sam just said there. I wouldn't think twice about it. You told me we're going to win 8 wins in football. You just got to put $150 a month. Done.
I'm in.
Sold.
I'm in.
Easy. But I don't know. Like, if I put that money in, I got no idea if they're going to win. I got no idea if Taylor Green's going to be worth you-know-what. I got no idea if this defense is going to be productive. No clue.
But that's life, man. We go put $150 a month into, pick a stock. Tesla, Walmart.
Sunday red shirt.
Whatever.
Polo.
Well, there's not going to be a return on that. But
I'm playing
I'm just saying,
now.
But I'm just saying, if you're looking for life and guarantees in life, just I guess look to death and taxes. I guess that's the only thing that's truly guaranteed.
Death, taxes, and hot girls hanging out with hot girls.
Okay, there you go. All right, that's your SEC update brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. They're celebrating their 46th anniversary. Incredible deals on in-ground pools with savings up to $12,000 right now. Above-ground pools have $1,200 in savings. And you can find you a great-looking hot tub right now for $39.95. And semi-in-ground pools have a $5,000 discount. It's the 46th anniversary sale at Burton Pools and Spas, Springdale and in Fort Smith, and always online at burtonpools.com.
All right, let's welcome in our friend Lane Whitman here this morning at the Railbird 333 via the McClarty Daniel hotline. Lane, you hear that beautiful trumpet that's going to go off tomorrow at Churchill Downs, 150th anniversary. I guess it was this day in 1952. It was televised for the first time, and you already sent me some of the keys for today, and excited to see what else you got to say about this weekend.
Yeah, as far as the races going on in Louisville this weekend, we have Kentucky Oaks Day today. The big race is race 11. My top pick, number 13, Just FYI, trained by Bill Mott at 9. Wanted to make sure I got that in there. I really like this horse. It's going to be a sloppy track today. This horse has wins on a fast track and sloppy track. I think it's a good bet today. Actually, it's my best bet today at Churchill, number 13, Just FYI in race 11. As far as tomorrow, looking for the Kentucky Derby, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have a pick yet in the Kentucky Derby because I don't know what this track is going to be like. I've checked the weather. The track is like soup right now. I saw a picture of it from earlier this morning, but there's smaller chances of rain for the rest of the day into the night, but it's only 10 or 15%, so maybe they won't get any more rain. I know the track dries out pretty fast over there. The Kentucky Derby's not till 6 o'clock tomorrow night. So until I have to send my sheet of picks out to everybody in the morning, which is going to be at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, I'm going to hold off on making a singular who my top pick is for the Derby. But I can't talk about some of the contenders that will be on my sheet if you want me to.
All right, well, let's talk about that in betting strategy. I want to make sure we get Oakland into the conversation because it's the final weekend at Oakland. And final 3 days of racing, it seems like this meet goes by faster and faster. I want to ask you about the Trails End because I think a lot of people in years past where the Derby was the second to last race of the year and the Trails End came up, they never saw them go by twice before. But the Trails End will close down the meet to on Sunday at Oakland.
Yeah, this is the 22nd weekend of racing at Oakland. Been racing ever since the SEC championship football game was on a Saturday. Oakland started the next Saturday, and we've been racing ever since. There's 4 stakes races this weekend, 1 today, 2 tomorrow, 2 Sunday. Well, they say there's only 1 race on Sunday that's a stakes race. I consider the Trails End a stakes race. It's got a $150,000 price tag with it. that they're racing for. It's got a name. It's the Trails End, and it's always fun being over there for that race when a lot of the people don't really know what's going on. They see the horses start back where they start for the 6 furlongs, and as they come past the finish line for the first time, their horse might be winning and they're cheering, and then they realize when they get back on the first turn to go around for a second time that the race is not over and they got to survive another mile of the race. That's always fun to see the cheering when the race is not even over.
All right, we're short on time, but 30 seconds or so. Give me your best strategy tomorrow, even though you don't have your horses picked out. Best strategy for the Derby.
Well, I can tell you real quick. I've got 2 horses that are going to run near the lead, just a touch, and Stronghold on my ticket. I'm going to have a couple horses that run mid-pack, Catching Freedom, and I'm going to have a closer on my ticket, Sierra Leone. So I kind of covered no matter which way that the race unfolds, and you can never really tell with a 20-horse field.
Lang, appreciate it. At the Railbird 333 for the picks tomorrow. Our horse racing update every week of the meet has been brought to you by Brothers Roofing and Restoration. 479-353-3877 is the number. If you have recent storm damage, hail damage, tornado high winds that have been in your area that have caused damage to your roofing system, have Brother and his team come out and inspect your roof. 479-353-3877. Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, Hot Springs and beyond, 353-3877 for Brothers Roofing.
Hey, it's been a good Fast Break Friday. A lot to watch this weekend. We will recap it for you on the Morning Rush Monday, bright and early at 6 a.m. Talk to you then.
Nothing says summer fun like fishing with a Thill Bobber with the family. America's favorite floats by Thill are available in a variety of sizes and colors. These premium balsa wood floats are made by the thousands at Pradco and